Live from Mark Light Field, CSS presents the 2005 Coral Gables NCAA Baseball Regional, where tonight the top-seeded Miami Hurricanes play host to the 4th-seeded VCU Rams. And hello again, everybody. Matt Stewart joined by Nick Belmonte, and welcome to sultry Miami, where it's like a sauna. And Nick, we've got a ball game here tonight where the Miami Hurricanes come in on the heels of a 6-game losing streak. They haven't played at home in nearly a month, but it always seems when it comes time for postseason play, the Canes know how to flip the switch at the light.
Well, this is a great home field advantage. The teams always play good here, especially in postseason play. And Coach Jim Morris has pulled out all the stops. He even had the former team chaplain talk to the team yesterday. Something to get those bats awoken here at the University of Miami.
They have not lost a home regional opener since 1978 against Clemson. Now, VCU, they were the winners of the Colonial Athletic Association. Head coach Paul Key says they're playing with house money.
Oh, they really are. And he said, you know what, the key to us tonight is if we can weather the storm, pun intended, and get through the first 3 innings, we got a shot. He said in those first 3 innings, there's a chance they could just blow us right out of the ballpark. So he needs his team to calm down. If he can do that, he thinks he'll play toe-to-toe with these guys.
Now, we already had one game today, and Mississippi State was a big winner over Florida Atlantic. The Bulldogs winning 13-2. They hit 5 home runs in that game. Brad Corley had 2 3-run homers, and Alan Johnson went the distance.
How about this? Mississippi State arguably the hottest team in college baseball right now, doing it with pitching and hitting. This is a team that's only had 28 home runs coming in this game. Hit 5 today. Go figure. They are clicking on all cylinders.
The Bulldogs will play the winner of this game on Saturday night. All right, let's talk about VCU. They're led by their second baseman, Scott Sizemore. Their head coach, Paul Key, says simply he's our best player.
And he needs to be the guy that's going to do it for him. And this is a team that does it with running. They steal bases, so when they're in position, he's got to be the guy to drive them in. He was named for actually 3rd-team All-American just today.
And he was 1st-team All-Conference in the Colonial Athletic Association. For the Miami Hurricanes, they're led by their third baseman, Ryan Braun. He'll likely be a first-round draft pick next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week for him next week, but it's going to be a big weekend for him here in Miami. This is the guy they need to get. He's the one power constant they have in their lineup, but he's the guy that has to get the big power hits this weekend. He was the ACC Player of the Year.
And he's number 4 all-time in home runs and RBI here at the University of Miami. It's Miami and VCU, the NCAA Regionals. We'll come back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this timeout on CSS. You're watching the NCAA Baseball Regionals on CSS. It's brought to you by Carpets of Dalton. Call 1-888-514-7446 for the best in furniture, floors, and more. It's Carpets of Dalton. And we are live at Mark Light Field, 33rd NCAA Regional for the University of Miami, which is an NCAA record. We are in sultry Coral Gables, Florida, where it is indeed humid today. Let's take a look at the Miami Hurricanes defensively. Behind the plate, Eddie Rodriguez. At first base, Danny Valencia. At second base, Paco Figueroa. A little bit of a change there for Jim Morris. Walter Diaz is the shortstop. Ryan Braun's at third. John Jay in left field. Danny Figueroa in center. Brendan Caton is in right field tonight. And on the mound for the Miami Hurricanes, the sophomore right-hander out of Miami, Ricky Orta.
Ricky Orta on the year. You can see 67 innings, 65 hits. But the 42 runs and 32 walks, a number of concern right there in those numbers. 6-5 record, and the ERA 5.64. So people have been getting at him. But just last week against Clemson, he went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. They need a little bit better here tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the batting order for Virginia Commonwealth, 33-20, and the champions of the Colonial. Joe Metter will lead things off in center field. Sergio Miranda is the shortstop. He's batting second. Scott Sizemore, the second baseman, bats third. Tim St. Clair in first base will bat fourth. Barrett Ripley is the third baseman. He'll bat fifth. Pete Farina is the catcher. He's batting sixth. Batting seventh is the right fielder, Trey Harris. Alex Gary is the DH. He'll bat eighth. And Quan Evans in left field. He'll bat ninth. It's 85 degrees with 95% humidity. Winds are calm. It is cloudy. Some dark clouds off to our left. Our umpires for tonight's ball game. Doug Williams is working the plate. Bob Homolka is at first base. Dan O'Connell at second base. And Bill Speck is working the third base bag. So the champions of the Colonial taking on the Miami Hurricanes of the Atlantic Coast Conference here in game number 2 of this Coral Gables Regional. Again, if you're just now joining us, Mississippi State was a big and easy winner over Florida Atlantic this afternoon, 13-2. So the Bulldogs await the winner of this ball game in the winner's bracket. and Florida Atlantic will await the loser in an elimination game tomorrow afternoon. First pitch from Orta is outside, and we're underway.
And this is a Miami team that has not had to play in a conference tournament ever prior to hosting this regional. First time as a member of any conference.
1-0 pitch to Metter. Missed high, and it's now 2-0. In fact, Miami had some difficulty down the stretch in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Head coach Jim Morris says of the ACC, a little bit different intensity for this Miami team. Ball is chopped to the shortstop Diaz. Easy hop and an easy throw, and there's one down. And he says, you know, it was a great move for the university. Didn't know if it's such a great move for the baseball team. He said things were working pretty good before they were in the ACC.
Well, no question. I mean, the formula was great. Get your 45 to 50 wins. You're going to host based on that. And then everyone knows if you host, that's a lot easier to get yourself to Omaha as opposed to going on the road.
Here's the shortstop, Sergio Miranda. First pitch from Orta. Lays down a bunt. Catcher Rodriguez gloves it and throws him out. Quick off the plate, Eddie Rodriguez, and 2 out here in the first.
Well, this is a team that does it by running. We're a little bit surprised that Metter, the leadoff man, went after a 2-0 pitch and grounded out. I thought maybe they'd be a little bit patient. I always have a theory. If a guy hasn't thrown a strike yet, make sure you see him throw one, especially tonight where they got to make sure they're patient.
Second baseman Scott Sizemore takes a strike, and it's 0-1. They've got a good combination of speed and power. Virginia Commonwealth stole 127 bases this season and hit a school record 60 home runs. Sizemore's second delivery is outside, and it's 1-1, or second delivery from Orta, that is, to Sizemore, and it's 1-1. Orta again swung on and missed, and it's 1-2.
That's what they got to do as far as an offensive game plan. 32 walks in 67 innings for Orta, and they have a team that can run. So make sure he throws you strikes, get on, and then just force the issue.
1-2 pitch missed high, and now it's 2-2. Now there was a reason why Virginia Commonwealth hit a school record 60 home runs. They did not play their home games at the Diamond in Richmond this year. Instead played it at about 45 minutes away, and a called strike 3. Ricky Orta strikes out Scott Sizemore to end the first. We played half an inning from Coral Gables. Virginia Commonwealth scoreless, and Miami coming to bat. Bottom of the first, VCU scoreless and Miami coming to bat. Let's take a look at the Rams defensively with Farina behind the plate. St. Clair is at first base, Sizemore at second, Miranda's at shortstop, Ripley's at third base, Evans in left field, Metter in center, and Harrison Wright on the mound for the VCU Rams, the sophomore right-hander Harold Mozingo.
Harold Mozingo, 8-3 record, 87 in the third innings, 86 hits, only hit 254 against him, 44 walks, and look at that right there, 99 strikeouts. And this is what coach is talking about. They got to weather the storm. He's got to shut down the Miami offense in the early innings.
Batting order for the Miami Hurricanes at 38-17-1 on the season for head coach Jim Morris. Danny Figueroa in center field would lead things off, followed by his brother Paco Figueroa. They are twins. He's playing second base tonight. Ryan Braun batting third, followed by John Jay, Danny Valencia, Brendan Caton, Eddie Rodriguez. Alex Garabedian is the designated hitter tonight. He's batting eighth. And Walter Diaz, the shortstop, is batting ninth. And here's a look at the dimensions at Mark Light Field. If you're not familiar with it, 330 down the left field line, 365 in both alleys, 400 to dead away center field, and it's also 330 down the right field line. But this ballpark played very small in the opener, especially for a Mississippi State team not known for its power, but hit 5 home runs in the opening ball game.
Well, I've seen about 100 games through the years in this ballpark, and where the balls jump out of this place is left field and left center, because the wind traditionally comes from the Atlantic Ocean breeze, and it blows it straight out to the outfield towards left field. Got a little bit of a cross breeze there today, but the dimensions in the alleys aren't very big. And at 365 in left center field, that's one area you got to watch, because that's where a lot of balls fly out.
Well, Danny Figueroa will lead things off for the Miami Hurricanes, and he has led off in 51 of the 53 games in which he has started this season. In fact, the only 2 games in which he did not lead off, his brother Paco did instead. But he has been a very good leadoff hitter for the Miami Hurricanes, hitting .421 in his first at-bat of the game, 16 for 41. So we'll see if he can get this Hurricanes team that has been struggling, we'll see if he can get them jump-started here tonight. First pitch from Mozingo missed inside. It's 1-0.
And they like to get these guys on, and it really settles down their offense and puts pressure on the defense because he and his brother, the brothers Figueroa, can steal a base.
1-0 pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Figueroa, Danny Figueroa, is a redshirt junior. His brother Paco is a senior. Danny fell a year behind him a year ago when he was sidelined because of 2 surgeries that he's still really recovering from here in 05. And a ground ball hit to the second baseman, handcuffs him and bounces by Miranda into shallow left field. Wide turn by Danny Figueroa, and he'll stay at first. Inauspicious start. They're going to score that a base hit.
Well, if you can't get a base hit at home, I guess you can't get one here. Let's see what they do on the replay. It looked like it took a funny hop on him right at the end. At least he played it like it did. And that's what VCU did not want to do, is give the Hurricanes extra outs early in this ball game.
15th error of the season on Sergio Miranda. And here's Paco Figueroa. He's out of Gulliver Prep, as is his brother. He is 4 minutes older than his brother. And the first pitch to Paco is ripped down the left field line, and that is a foul ball. Third base umpire Bill Speck, right on top of it, said that it was a foul ball, and so Miami misses scoring a run with their second batter, at least for the moment.
Now, talking to Paul Keyes about Mozingo, he said that he's the pitcher that cannot give up walks. And I agree. This is a team that will kill you if you put them on base via the base on balls, because they can run. He needs to command the zone. And Mozingo is a guy that, he's 88 to 91. Fastball, slider, change, and curve, has all 4 pitches. But he's got to hit his zone tonight, keep his team close, as they will get confidence as this game goes. This is not an overwhelming crowd here tonight, because I think the weather has kept some people at home, and I think that works in VCU's favor.
We've got some heavy clouds floating in overhead. It rained heavily last night and overnight, but it's been clear, at least from the standpoint it has not rained during the day. It has been overcast all day, and that has not really kept the temperatures down, but it has upped the humidity. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bounced in there to the catcher, Farina. And it's 1-1 to Paco Figueroa, hitting .363 on the season with 4 homers and 34 RBI. And both he and his brother are a threat to steal once they get on base. Paco has 21 stolen bases, and Danny has 19. Throw over, and that's exactly what Mozingo was thinking as he threw the ball away from the first baseman, St. Clair. And Danny Figueroa is going to be at second base. And that'll be a throwing error on the pitcher, Harold Mozingo.
Well, we've seen 2 mistakes already by Virginia Commonwealth, something they have to keep at a minimum, and they've had 2, and they haven't even finished the second hitter. They've thrown over there about 3 times. That lead is not big. I'm not sure if that was a needful throw right there. It gets away, and now the double play not in order. Something that may hurt him here on a ground ball.
Well, this is exactly what Paul Keyes did not want to see. You talked about it in the opening, weathering the storm, if they could survive the first 3 innings, but things already shaky here in the bottom of the first as Paco Figueroa takes the pitch outside. It's now 2-1.
I think Paul Keyes figures if they could go maybe a run an inning early, that'd be fine, being down 3 runs after 3, but avoiding that big inning that may threaten to just blow them right out of the ballpark early.
2-1 pitch. Missed high. It's now 3-1. We mentioned Paco Figueroa playing second base tonight. He was expected to be their starting second baseman this year. Ended up playing in the outfield along with his brother. In fact, he's made only a handful of starts in the infield this season. 3-1 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. It's 3-2, but Jim Morris trying to shake things up. In fact, yesterday, after their workout, he said you're liable to see some different things for our opening ball game, and one of them being Figueroa, Paco Figueroa at second base, Caton in right field, and Garabedian designated hitter tonight. 3-2 pitch, walked in.
Well, now that's 3 things Paul Keyes didn't want to see. The base on balls, an error. Well, I actually gave him a hit. And the ball being thrown away by the pitcher, Mozingo.
Well, here's Ryan Braun. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast, Nick, the ACC Player of the Year. He has not hit a home run since May 13th in their series opening win at Virginia. He has gone 7 games without a home run. He's got 16 on the year and 43 for his career.
And he likes hitting them here, though. He loves this ballpark.
And the first pitch from Mozingo. Hit down the line, but foul.
Try to jump on an early pitch, turn it around. It was sitting fastball right there. And Ryan Braun, I've seen him many a time turn on a pitch and hit it right over the scoreboard in left center field. So you have to pitch him careful. If you're going to come into him, you got to come up and in, and then maybe slider him away. But if you leave anything inner third, he'll make you pay.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Braun, but first Mozingo turns back to second base. Nobody there. Braun, as we told you at the top of the broadcast, likely a first-round draft pick next Tuesday, so he's probably playing in his final month with the Miami Hurricanes, a junior out of Grenada Hills, California. The 0-1 pitch, he lays down a bunt long down the third base line, and the third baseman Ripley wisely lets it go foul. And now it's 0-2, but Braun has that ability. He is a slugger, and he is a guy that can bunt his way on.
I tell you what, you know, maybe you come up and you make that play and get him out via a sacrifice. I don't know if you'd want, even though the count's now 0-2, I'm not sure you want this guy swinging. Anytime you can get Ryan Braun to bunt, if I'm on the opposition, I'm going to make the play and get the bunt. I don't want this guy taking a full swing on me.
Well, this is one of the reasons why he's likely going to be a first-round draft pick, because he's got home run power and he's got a sprinter's speed. He's the fastest guy on this team. Has 22 stolen bases on the year. He had 21 a year ago.
Ryan Braun was a shortstop last year and moved over to third. That's, you talk about a team guy. He did that for the team. And that's something that, you know, I know is going to bode well in his favor come draft day.
Mozingo looks in, looks back at second. The 0-2 pitch outside, and it's 1-2. It'll be interesting to see, Nick, where he plays at the next level, the professional level. I'm guessing that at least first of all, to start off his professional career, they're going to give him a shot at shortstop.
And to see how he handles it, you could always move him over to third if he gets, you know, a little stronger, or I'm sure he could always play second base. He's got good athletic ability to do that. Or you may see him in the outfield, like what happened with Pat Burrell.
Again, the spin move by Mozingo, and nobody's there. You know, Jim Morris says, you know, I'd use him at shortstop, but I've got to win ball games, right. And he's not our best shortstop. But at the next level, in the developmental level, they'll stick him there, and he might commit 50 errors, but they'll let him develop and see if he can stick as a shortstop. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball in the left field. Now the center fielder comes in, and Metter will take it. And there's one out.
That's a big out right there for Mozingo. Getting Ryan Braun to pop up to short center field. That's huge.
Well, this brings up the left fielder John Jay, the sophomore out of Christopher Columbus High School in Miami. And if you're not familiar with University of Miami baseball, John Jay, the cleanup hitter with no home runs, but #2 in the ACC in batting this year with a .422 average. First pitch to Jay, missed off the corner, and it's 1-0.
And Jay hitting .422. He was around .450 most of the year. So if you can believe, .422 is struggling. But this guy is a hitter. He will hit the pitch where it's thrown.
1 ball and no strikes. Mozingo looks back at second, and the delivery to Jay. In there for a strike at the knees, and it's 1-1. He has 6 career home runs, all of those coming in his freshman season. I asked Jim Morris, had he, you know, sacrificed, you know, some power to get his average up over 400, and it's 422. He said he really didn't feel like that had been the case this year. He just hadn't hit home runs.
Just hadn't had one fly out.
Again, Mozingo turns and looks back at second base. He's bothered by Danny Figueroa.
And he shouldn't be, because he's got a left-handed hitter up. If he's doing what he needs to do, concentrate on the hitter here. If his catcher can't throw him out with a lefty up, then you're not going to throw him out anyway. That catcher's got a clear shot to third base if they decide to go. So, you know, if he decides to go and he sees him go, he could throw, you know, basically a pseudo pitch out on his own and let the catcher take his shot.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Bunt laid down by Jay. Mozingo will go to first, and moving everybody up 90 feet to second and third. And now they're 2 out.
And what this is telling you, I mean, you saw Braun try a bunt, and then their 4-hitter Jay trying a bunt with 1 out. This is telling you that they're just trying to get some runs on the board early. That's how bad they've struggled in their last 6 games. I believe they only scored 14 runs total in their last 6 games. That is, they've done that. You know, I've seen Miami teams do that in 6 innings, not 6 games. So they're saying we're waiting for that big hit right here, and it's up to Valencia.
They were outscored 45-14 in their 6-game losing streak as Danny Valencia takes the pitch outside, and it's 1-0. This is the first losing streak of this length in Miami history since 1966, and the first time ever for Jim Morris until you go back to his days at Georgia Tech. 1-0 pitch. Gets away from the catcher, racing home Danny Figueroa, and Miami has a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's the 4th break given up by Virginia Commonwealth in this inning. All leading up to the run. Breaking ball way out of the reach of the catcher. You can't even slide over. Farina does a valiant effort to try to get over there. That thing was way out of the zone.
VCU has given this run to Miami here in the bottom half of the first. Counts 2-0, and now it's 3-0 to Danny Valencia.
And that's something Miami needed. They needed some breaks, get a little confidence going. Say, hey, we're the bad boy. This is our home. This is our regional. You know, you're the 4 seed. Get out of our way. And by giving them runs, they're going to take it, and they may hurt you here early in this game.
Second walk of the inning for Mozingo, and now runners at the corners and 2 out.
You see Farina, the catcher, right there, giving the signs. Miami and Jim Morris. You know, if you see a count go to 0-2 or 1-2, you might see a first-third steal situation where they'll start the runner Valencia, and you'll see Figueroa reading the catcher and try to steal home. But I look for that more with 2 strikes.
Here's Brendan Caton playing right field tonight. Takes the fastball strike, and it's 0-1.
Caton's got power. Good fastball hitter.
7 homers on the season to go along with 41 RBI and a .335 batting average. 0-1 pitch. Missed inside, and it's 1-1 to Brendan Caton out of Fort Myers High School, transferred in from Lake Sumter Community College.
I think Paul Keyes takes a 1-run inning with the 4 mistakes that VCU has made. I think Paul Keyes say, hey, they only get 1 run, that's fine.
They'd be very fortunate if that happens. 1-1 pitch missed high, 2-1, but Mozingo is not out of the woods yet. He's already walked 2 batters in the inning. He's behind Caton 2-1, and this will be his 25th pitch in this inning.
And this 1-run lead can turn into a 4 or 5-run lead within about 4 pitches if he doesn't start throwing strikes and hitting corners.
The fake move to third base, and nobody's fooled. For the 1,038th consecutive time, nobody was fooled.
No, well, I don't know. I saw it work 3 times last year, but
no, you did.
I swear to you, I did.
2-1 pitch.
I saw
in there for a strike. 2-2. You're either watching a whole heck of a lot more baseball than I am. You're just in the right place at the right time. I've seen it work once in my entire life.
I saw it work twice in Division I games and once in the minor leagues last summer.
And here are your runners. Paco Figueroa down at third base. Danny Valencia is over at first. And the 2-2 to Caton. And now it's 3-2. The runner goes on the delayed steal. Running home and scoring is Paco Figueroa. It's 2-0.
And there was it. Waited till 2 strikes, as we thought they would do. We got the 2 strikes, and off they went. Great job by Figueroa reading the catcher. Catcher didn't even look him back. Just gunned the ball to second base, and Figueroa walks home. Now, the great thing about this play, it's a delayed steal, so he doesn't even see him run. And the reason why he gets a great jump, that's what's going to happen. Your middle infielder falls fast asleep, and he doesn't even get over there in time. And he has no chance to catch a ball on a dead run, stop, and throw home.
3-2 pitch outside, third walk of the inning for Harold Mozingo. And I think we can officially say that VCU is caught in the headlights right now.
Yeah, they've got to find some way out of this inning, because it can get ugly. I was talking about, you know, a double here, and it's a 4-run game, and that's exactly what Paul Keyes was hoping to weather.
Both of the Miami runs have scored without benefit of an RBI. Danny Figueroa scored on a wild pitch, and his brother scored on a stolen base. Here's Eddie Rodriguez. Runners at first and second. Rodriguez out of nearby Coral Gables High School. And the first pitch to him is outside, and it's 1-0. He's at 307 on the season. 7 homers and 32 RBI. His last homer came in their 9-1 elimination loss to the Clemson Tigers in the ACC tournament. And Mark McQueen, the pitching coach, is out of the VCU dugout to pay a visit to Mozingo.
Well, he's just going to try to settle him down, get him out of this inning. I think Mozingo has spent a lot of time worrying about base runners in this inning, and the one base they did steal was on a delayed steal. Probably, looking back at that play, Farina probably should have just taken that ball and just thrown it back to the pitcher and said, look, you got second base, because that delayed steal is set up to do exactly what it did. The middle infielders fell asleep on that play, and by the time he got up and threw the ball, there was no one really covering second base. And then the catcher also did not look the runner back at third, and Figueroa basically just walked in. So he's, as we said, a couple of pitches away from seeing this thing get ugly.
Well, don't you think this is just exactly what Miami was hoping for?
Well, there's the bunt. John Jay bunts with one out. Very uncharacteristic of Miami to do that. But Jim Morris was trying to kickstart their offense somehow, some way, and getting those guys in scoring position where one scored on a steal, one scored on a wild pitch.
Here's the 1-0 to Eddie Rodriguez with 2 men on. That ball is lined into right field, gloved by Harris for the final out of the inning. But the Miami Hurricanes push 2 runs across in the bottom of the first and have an early lead here at Mark Light Field. Top of the second inning with the Miami Hurricanes out on top of VCU 2-0 in first round action of the NCAA Coral Gables Regional. We'll keep you updated. Lots of games going on around the Southeast and the entire country. We'll try to bring you up to date on as many scores as we can. But so far today looked like a pretty good day for the ACC and for the SEC.
Ricky Orta, big inning here. His team just scored a couple of runs. He needs to shut down the opposition. And as the fans continue to file in here at Mark Light Field, the momentum will stay in their dugout.
Well, his last win came on April 1st against Oral Roberts. Went 6 innings that night. Gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, 5 strikeouts and a walk. He has not won a ball game since April 1st. So we're talking about over 2 months. And his last start was a loss in the 3rd game at Clemson on May 21st. He actually pitched fairly well in that ball game, although the Hurricanes lost 6-2. 5 strong innings, and then things went bad in that 6th inning. His official final line was 5 innings, 4 runs, and 6 hits.
You think someone on his team came over and said, that's the last win you're going to have this year, April Fools?
Exactly. Well, he's got a head start on picking up his 7th win of the season as he leads here tonight, and Tim St. Clair will lead off for VCU to start the 2nd. First pitch to St. Clair, swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. St. Clair out of Woodbridge, Virginia. First year in the program after transferring from Chesapeake Community College. 0-1 pitch, fouled off the end of the bat, and it's 0-2. St. Clair, a team leading .373 average, was the MVP of the Colonial Tournament. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Tried to check his swing, did he? He went around. First base umpire Bob Holcomb rings him up, and there's 1 out.
Did his bat cross home plate? That's all you need to know.
I think he did.
Absolutely.
2 strikeouts now for Ricky Orta, and that brings up the left-handed hitting 3rd baseman Barrett Ripley. 240 average. Takes the first pitch low. He's a junior out of Hermitage High School in Glen Ellen, Virginia. .1-0 pitch. Ground ball hit to the first baseman. Valencia will take it himself. 2 outs.
Ford is doing a nice job just going right through this lineup here in the 2nd inning.
Orta won his first 4 starts this season, then struggled and was moved from the rotation into the bullpen. In fact, he allowed only 2 earned runs in his first 24 2/3 innings this season and had consecutive starts of 6 innings or more where he did not even give up a run against Pittsburgh and then against Duke. First pitch to the catcher, Pete Farina, is a strike. It's 0-1. Farina's out of West Los Angeles, California. Played at University High School out there. 0-1 pitch outside, 1-1.
Well, Jim Morris, decided he's going to go with Orta today. Cesar Carrillo is their ace, arguably the best pitcher in the country, him and Luke Hochevar. But they're going to save him for the winner's bracket game, and that's what they're hoping to do. They win this game, stay in the winner's bracket game, and then have him face Mississippi State tomorrow night.
Well, if it works out that way, what a pitching matchup we'll have for tomorrow night's ball game here on CSS. 1-2 pitch from Orta way outside, and it's 2-2. That'll be Cesar Carrillo for Miami against the National Player of the Week, Todd Doolittle of Mississippi State.
Yeah, and if that's as advertised, the runs are going to be very scarce tomorrow night.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Outside now, 3-2 to Pete Farina. Payoff pitch. Hit to the second baseman, Paco Figueroa. Easy play for him, and the inning comes to a close as VCU goes 1-2-3 for the second inning in a row. We played an inning and a half from Miami. The Hurricanes with a 2-0 lead here on CSS. Bottom of the second inning, Miami with a 2-0 lead on Virginia Commonwealth. We're just getting started here at the Coral Gables Regional. We'll have more action. Doubleheaders coming up for you Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we know that Florida Atlantic will be playing in that first game against the loser of this game right here. And at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll have the winner of this game taking on Mississippi State. Then on Sunday, we're into the championship round. 7 o'clock will be the championship game. And if there is an elimination game needed in the championship round, it would be played Monday night at 7 o'clock. And I know if you've been on the websites and checking out the original schedule for the Coral Gables Regional had the championship game at 4 o'clock. That game now would be played at 7 o'clock on Monday night. And it's all right here on CSS. Plus, we're going to have some action from the Tulane Regional for you as well. In fact, earlier today we brought you that Tulane and Southern ball game. Hope you enjoyed that. So Alex Garabedian, the designated hitter, will lead things off for the Miami Hurricanes here in the bottom of the second. Hitting only .261 in his first season here at Miami. He also is out of Christopher Columbus High School. He's a big-time prospect. And the first pitch from Mozingo rides in on him and knocks him off the plate. It's 1-0. He was a 7th-round draft pick of the New York Yankees a year ago. Mozingo with the 1-0 pitch for a strike, and it's 1-1.
And Garabedian, a guy they thought would probably do a lot of the catching this year. They lost a guy in Eric San Pedro last year that was one of the best defensive catchers in the United States.
1-1 pitch is hit into center field. Metter is there, and there's one out. You know, and I asked Jim Morris about that, the fact that Eric Garabedian had not won the catcher's job from Eddie Rodriguez this year, as many people had anticipated. He said, you know what, we've never had a freshman come in here and win the starting job. Not San Pedro, not Charles Johnson.
Charles Johnson played first base, so that is correct. And Garabedian, I'm sure, will do a lot of catching here at the University of Miami. But it's a tribute also. Eddie Rodriguez did a nice job as a catch and throw guy this year.
Here's Walter Diaz. That's in there for a strike.
And you know else, Matt, to put a freshman back there to catch your pitching staff, it's very difficult, to make that transition. It's probably a little bit better to sit back and watch a year.
0-1 pitch. Popped him up into right field. Going back, and now Metter chases it down. Had a little bit more carry to it than I thought. Now there's 2 out. And we are live at Mark Light Field in Coral Gables, Florida. Thanks for joining us here. The NCAA Regionals. Matt Stewart along with Nick Belmonte, as we are now in the bottom of the second inning with Miami leading VCU 2-0 here in the second game of the day. Back around to the top of the order, and here's Danny Figueroa. He singled his first time up. A ball that took a wicked hop on the shortstop, Sergio Miranda. That's in there for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Well, from a momentum standpoint, Bazinga would really serve his club well here if he's able to get through the second inning without surrendering a run.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Mozingo. A little bit low this time, and it's 1-1. He leads the team in wins and starts, innings pitched, 87, more than that now, including today's ball game. Strikeouts with 99, lowest on base percentage among starting pitchers, or rather opponent's batting average, I should say, among starting pitchers. 254 average against him. It's 2-1 now from Mozingo. He's been their ace, is what I'm trying to say. 2-1 pitch. Strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-2.
Well, if he can get himself in a groove and shut down Miami in this inning in the middle innings, it gives his offense a chance to break through and try to get a little bit of momentum going.
2-2 pitch. Called strike 3, and there you go. Danny Figueroa called out on strikes as the second comes to an end with Miami leading VCU 2-0 here on CSS. Top of the third with Miami leading Virginia Commonwealth 2-0 in the Coral Gables Regional. A few moments ago, I told you we'd be bringing you action from the Miami, or maybe got the Tulane New Orleans Regional, and we'll have that for you. The game between Louisiana Lafayette and Alabama, which is actually being played tonight. We'll give you tape delay coverage of that ball game and show it to you Saturday, tomorrow at noon Eastern, right here on CSS. And we go to the top of the third inning, and VCU still looking for their first hit of the evening. Only one hit for Miami, but they were able to mix that all in with a wild pitch and some stolen bases and 3 base on balls to get 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. And here's Trey Harris, the sophomore out of Newport News, Virginia, Woodside High School. Ricky Orta on the mound for the Miami Hurricanes. And the first pitch from him is a ball outside, 1-0. You know, Jim Morris was asked why Ricky Orta, and obviously the reporters were digging at him there in the news conference, saying, why aren't you starting Carrillo, your ace, in the opening ball game? Well, he, like many head coaches, when it comes time for the regionals, you position your starting rotation strategically, not necessarily say, well, here's my one guy, he pitches the first game, and my 2 guy pitches the second game.
Well, if you think your 2 or 3 pitcher can handily beat your opposition, you can't waste your 1 and have 2 and 3 face on the winner's bracket game. Now, this is a practice that's been tried here at the University of Miami for many, many years with great success, is hold your ace till the second game. This is something that's tested and tried and true.
Ground ball hit to the shortstop. Diaz will throw him out, and there's 1 out.
I mean, this is not something that Jim Morris just decided to do. This has worked not only here, as you said, all over the country, where you hold back your ace to get in that winner's bracket game.
Well, Jim Morris has taken the Miami Hurricanes to 11 NCAA regionals, and he has never lost a regional.
Yeah, so
in fact, the last time Miami lost a regional was 1990 against the Citadel.
That's all he should have said to answer that question.
Here's Alex Gary. Gary takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Now, Jim Morris is a great tournament coach, and it's a whole different dynamic to coach in these kind of tournament regionals and super regionals.
Next pitch to Gary missed inside, and it's 1-1.
No, here's how you got to think of it. If you lose tonight with Orta pitching, you're still not going to feel bad.
Breaking ball missed outside, 2-1. Now you're going to feel bad, but you're going to know that you got Carrillo pitching in game number 2.
Well, yeah, I understand it, but you're going to say, well, you know what? If the 4 seed beat my number 2, then the team that I'm going to play in game 2 probably would have beat my number 2 as well.
Braun throws him out, and there's 2 out. You know what? They lose here tonight. They're bringing Father Leo back for another meeting.
Father Leo Armbrust came back in there. He was a mainstay chaplain on the sidelines of a lot of the University of Miami teams. I think Jimmy Johnson, you always saw him on the sidelines. And, you know, I think he's done some stuff with the Dallas Cowboys up on in their sidelines through the year.
It's Quan Evans, 2 out. First pitch low away, 1-0. Quan Evans out of Hampton, Virginia, Bethel High School, named to the Colonial All-Rookie team, hit .324 this year. 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Well, how about Kevin Cooney, the number 3 seed, decided to throw. He's going to throw his ace the second day, and he's the 3 seed.
As it turns out, he's got his ace going in the elimination game. 1-1 pitch. Out of play, and it's 1-2. And Story will pitch for Florida Atlantic tomorrow after Sahlberg did not fare well against Mississippi State. He was trying to go with a more lefty-lefty matchup there. 1-2 pitch. And Mississippi State has a lot of left-handers in their batting order. Sahlberg, a left-hander, he felt like that would be the best matchup.
And you know what? As a 3 seed, his team's very young. You know, he doesn't have the pressure on him that the University of Miami has, hosting and being expected to win this regional. So he could be a little more creative and not get second guessed.
1-2 missed inside at the knees, and it's 2-2 to Quan Evans. Yeah, he's another. You know, we talked about how Paul Key said they're playing with house money. Florida Atlantic didn't think they were going to make the NCAAs after they lost to Stetson in the ASUN tournament final.
Well, they're young, and they just thought they're maybe a year away. And, you know, watch out for them next year. They lost a lot of people. They made some noise here last year in this tournament and, you know, made Miami take notice.
In fact, they thought, or a lot of people thought, that the 2 teams coming out of the ASUN would be whoever won the tournament final, which was Stetson and UCF. And UCF sitting at home watching. 3-2 pitch. They had a 42-18 record, got left out of the NCAA regional, and Kevin Cooney believes that it came down to Florida Atlantic being 3-1 against them and beat UCF on the final day of their tournament. And that was their 3rd win in 4 meetings against them. Beat them 5-3. Feel like that was the determining factor. 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3, and Quan Evans goes back to the dugout. Ricky Orta with strikeout number 3. He has set down the first 9 VCU Rams. We played 2.5, and Miami still has a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Miami leading VCU by a score of 2-0 here at the Coral Gables Regional. Some other scores to pass along to you this evening. LSU will win over Marist 14-5. That was in Baton Rouge. Arkansas defeated Miami of Ohio 9-5 in Austin, Texas. Charleston a 5-2 win over Oral Roberts. South Carolina scored 1 in the 9th to beat Michigan 6-5. That was in Atlanta. Winthrop a winner over Wichita State 2-1 in Knoxville, Tennessee. Auburn laid it on South Alabama 13-5 in Tallahassee, Florida. North Carolina a 5-1 win over Notre Dame. That was in Gainesville, Florida this afternoon. Here today in this ballpark, Mississippi State clobbered Florida Atlantic 13-2. Nebraska an 8-6 win over Illinois Chicago.
That was close.
And we understand that Georgia Tech and Furman were tied in the 10th inning.
SEC at least 5-0 right now today.
Here's Paco Figueroa. He walked and came around and scored on a stolen base. His first time up, scored the Hurricanes' 2nd run. Mozingo with his first pitch of the 3rd inning missed high. He threw 28 pitches in the 1st inning, settled down and threw 10 in the 2nd. But he's got plenty of pitches in his arm. 1-0 pitch. Missed inside, and it's 2-0. In the tournament opening win against Towson last week in the Colonial Tournament, he threw about 150 pitches.
Wow.
2-0 pitch, or at least that's what was reported.
That's a season for some guys. Well, that's a nice prelude to this night because it's such a muggy night. He's going to have be in that kind of shape.
He'll lose some weight tonight. 2-1 pitch. Not know that he's looking to, but he'll lose some. It's now 3-1 to Paco Figueroa, and Mozingo's already walked 3 guys tonight.
Yeah, that's something Paul Key said. You know, we got to throw strikes. We can't give them free passes.
3-1 pitch. Called strike on the corner, and it's now 3-2 to Figueroa. In fact, Figueroa was the only guy that during this losing streak that hit the ball. He hit 333 during their 6-game losing streak. 7 hits, but they were all singles.
Yeah, you just got to throw a fastball here. You can't walk the leadoff guy.
Here's the 3-2. Ball's popped out of play.
And that's where he wanted that pitch. I mean, he just served it right up. But, you know, you fall behind on a leadoff guy like Figueroa, a guy who can run. You know, you've got to just throw a fastball up there. You can't be cute with him. You can't throw a breaking ball away and take a chance that it's going to be ball 4. You got to let him hit his way on.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ball is hit to the third baseman. Ripley got it. And there's one down.
Well, that's a nice play right there. He came in fastball, caught the inside corner, made him entice him enough to swing at this ball. And there's Ripley right there, making sure he gets the body in front of it. And that has got to be a good hard throw with Figueroa's speed.
Here's Ryan Braun, who popped up to the center fielder his first time up. He's number 5 in the ACC in batting average this season at .401, and led the ACC in RBI and slugging percentage. First pitch to him is a strike. 71 RBI on the season and a .723 slugging percentage.
I like he started him off breaking ball inside corner. Just had him fooled right there. Pitching backwards, they call that.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Did he go?
Oh, I think he did.
He did not.
Let's see what that bat is. I mean, yeah, he was able to stop himself. That was a good break right there because that pitch had him fooled. He went breaking ball inside, fastball inside, and that pitch tied him up.
1 ball and a strike. 1 out here in the third. 1-1 pitch to Braun. Chopped foul down the third baseline. Gino DeMari, the third base coach, makes the play.
Well, now they pounded him in 3 pitches. Now they get him set up for a breaking ball away. There's Gino, and Gino is a great ball player at the University of Miami. A flat out fly. He could still yell out of bases. Center fielder. Had a great career here.
Mozingo shakes off the first sign, now goes after him on the 1-2 pitch. Again, the ball hit foul, over this time to Valencia on deck circle.
Valencia had a nice play. More self-defense than anything. Barehanded short hop.
Braun went 1 for 8 in the ACC tournament, and he's been hitting .231 during their losing streak. And this thing has really kind of gotten to people around here. They didn't know what to expect from the Miami Hurricanes in this very uncharacteristic 6-game skid as the ball goes to the backstop.
That was that breaking ball away. That was the same pitch he threw for the wild pitch back in the first inning. He's got to get that outer third away. It is so far off the plate. The hitter has no inclination to offer the pitch that's so far out when it leaves the pitcher's hand. You want to make him chase it and bury it in the dirt. You got to put it somewhere near the plate.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Mozingo with the pitch. Low, and now it's 3-2. And during this losing streak, Jim Morris said, you know, I've tried just about every approach. I've tried yelling at him. I've tried patting him on the back.
That's right.
And, you know, if you come out and win, you don't know which one worked. You know?
That's right.
So, I mean, you don't know that, you know, next time if you ever go through this again, you don't know whether that one worked or this strategy worked. Or that ball is yanked into left field. Braun is homered. 17th home run of the season, 44th career home run for Ryan Braun, and Miami has a 3-0 lead.
Well, he worked the count to 3-2. He had to come in with a pitch that he could turn on, and we said that Ryan Braun can turn on that pitch, and he hits a lot of them out in left field. This thing was gone. As soon as it left his bat, you knew it was out of here. And this is Miami building up confidence, doing the things that they do. 3-2 pitch, has to throw a fastball. A little bit down and in. And this is a patented Ryan Braun swing that he has really worked to his advantage at this ballpark. This ball's out of any ballpark. And this is Miami building up the confidence. They're starting to do what they do. Get on base, score runs via wild pitch, you know, just the little ball. And then you got Braun doing the big thing with the home run. So Miami wants to use this weekend to get back into playing Canes baseball like they're used to.
That is the 7th home run that Mozingo has given up this season as he gets ahead in the count to Jay 0-1. Jay hits it backhanded by the second baseman Sizemore, who throws him out. And now there's 2 out in the inning.
Well, good thing for Mozingo. It was a solo home run to Ryan Braun. And it was falling behind in the count to Braun that hurt him. Well, actually, he had him way ahead in the count and then just couldn't put him away, and that's what happens.
Danny Valencia at the plate. Walked his first time up. First pitch to Valencia is a ball. It's 1-0. He's out of Boca Raton. Spanish River High School, but started his collegiate career at UNC Greensboro, where he was the SoCon Freshman of the Year last season. 1-0 pitch. Popped out of play, and it's 1-1. Valencia has played most of this season at first base, but he may be their third baseman next season after Braun is gone. He plays both corners.
And, you know, we're to assume that Braun is going to go. First rounder.
1-1 pitch.
We just found out that the other day Stephen Drew finally signed with the Diamondbacks.
So did Jared Weaver, just signed with the Angels.
There you go. So,
you know, 51 weeks later.
Both Boros guys got it done.
Beat the midnight deadline. 2-1 pitch. In there for a strike. I can just imagine there in the Major League Baseball office, you know, 11:58, and the paper comes through the fax machine. They beat the deadline.
Wouldn't that be something? You get a paper jam. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Missed it. Got to go back in the draft. 2-2 pitch. Fly ball deep right field. Harris going back to the wall, gets turned around, and it's gone. Solo home run for Danny Valencia. His 6th of the season, and now it's 4-0.
Well, you can't blame this on falling behind the hitter, but another 2-strike home run. Mozingo just can't put these Canes hitters away, and this is Canes baseball right here. The confidence building. This is a nice job. 2 strikes going with this pitch. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Puts a nice swing on it going opposite way. And this thing, as we saw Harris turn back on it, crowd got excited because off the bat it didn't look like it was going to carry that much.
And here's Brendan Caton. 4-0 lead now for Miami. They still only have 3 hits. And Caton takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ryan Braun said in the newspaper, you know, it'll be good to get back in our normal heat and humidity. And they're feeling kind of at home right now. 0-1 pitch. They averaged just over 2 runs per game during their 6-game losing streak. They struck for 4 runs here in the first 2 2/3 innings. One pitch. Swing and a miss, and a pitch way outside, and it's 1-2.
So you want to come back to the exact same pitcher.
So Mozingo's given up 2 home runs in the ball game. He's walked 3 guys, and his team is in a 4-0 hole. 1-2 pitch, and that ball is hit down the right field line, going to be out of play. But
boy, that was a mistake. That location, he had him looking bad on that breaking ball, and then way too much of the plate on that 1-2 fastball. Got away with one there. You just buried a breaking ball in the dirt. That's way too much plate on a 1-2 pitch.
Caton will knock it out too. He hit 19 home runs at his community college. Did he check his swing? He went. He's gone. Strikeout number 2 for Mozingo, but not before Miami goes deep on him twice here in the 3rd. Home runs by Ryan Braun and Danny Valencia. Serving them up here in Miami, where the Hurricanes have a 4-0 lead. Top of the 4th inning, Miami leading Virginia Commonwealth 4-0 here in the Coral Gables Regional. Matt Stewart, Nick Belmonte, thanks for joining us. Just getting started here in the regional. We've got a full weekend of action coming up. A doubleheader tomorrow starting at 3 o'clock Eastern, and then a doubleheader on Sunday, and a championship game in the elimination round, if necessary, on Monday night. VCU, Nick, has a big hole here. They have yet to get a hit, and they're down 4 runs.
And, you know, because they're here, in the history of the University of Miami and how they approach regionals. That 4-0, it's got to feel like about 10-0 right now, but they got to take it one step at a time, get a base runner, start putting a little bit of pressure on the University of Miami to get back in this ball game, because this thing's going to slip away really quick if they can't get anything going offensively.
And here's Joe Metter. First pitch from Orta. Gets away from the catcher Rodriguez, and it's 1-0. Miami has won 19 consecutive regional home openers. The last time they lost a regional home opener was 1978 to the Clemson Tigers.
That's an amazing stat right there. It really is.
1-0 pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. This is their 33rd NCAA regional, which is an NCAA record. When it comes to postseason college baseball, they have written the book.
I'm shocked that Clemson was even, a low seed back there. They might have done things differently, because Clemson had some good teams back in the late 70s. It's hard to find a Clemson team that wasn't good.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Delivery from Orta. Missed, and it's 3-1. This is the 1500th game at Mark Light Field. 1,500. I think they've won. I think I read where they've won over 1,100 of them.
Well, when this field was, I know, dedicated back in the 70s, it had, and it was the coolest thing around. It had artificial turf, and nobody had that. And then they found out through the years it started getting worn and worn and worn, and then they finally put the grass down. But they used that artificial turf to their advantage in those Ron Fraser years.
3-2 pitch. Popped out of play. Count remains 3-2 to Joe Metter.
Ron Fraser, the coach here at the time, was an amazing, not only a great coach, but a guy that could market his program. They had $5,000 a plate fundraising dinners here at this ballpark.
Here's the 3-2 pitch to Metter, and that's the first base hit of the game for VCU.
And that's what they needed. Top of the order, get something going.
And you'll see Ron Fraser's #1 out there among the retired numbers. There are 11 retired numbers along the center field fence. The #1 worn by Ron Fraser among them. There it is.
Well,
you got Pat Burrell wore number 11.
What you would get for your $5,000 a plate, they'd have a symphony orchestra here. You can see the numbers right there. J.T. Arteaga, the pitching coach, 33.
Charles Johnson was number 23.
There you go.
Another great coach is out there as well. Number 15 on the other side of those numbers, Skip Burtman, who was a catcher here at Miami, and then an assistant coach.
Right.
And of course won 5 national championships at LSU as well. Miranda takes the strike, and it's 0-1.
And they would fly in the dinner. You'd be sitting down at the dinner, and they'd fly in fresh Maine lobster. And a helicopter would land in center field with your fresh Maine lobster. It was an amazing thing they used to do out here.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Popped him up in the center field. Danny Figueroa comes charging in and will take it. And there's 1 out. Yeah, they were big-time college baseball before there was big-time college baseball.
Yeah, Ron Fraser really spearheaded the drive to get college baseball on television. So I guess we all owe him a debt of gratitude for promoting this game.
They won the 1982 College World Series. That was the first national championship from Miami. And when they won that national championship in 1982, they became the first team from east of the Mississippi to win the College World Series since 1966. It had been a West Coast game all those years. And he brought it back east, and now you look where the power of college baseball is. And, I'd say maybe it's equally distributed in the country. But really, I think you'd say the real power is in the Southeast with the Southeastern Conference and the ACC. 16 teams out of the 64 in the NCAA regionals come from those 2 conferences.
There was one of the most famous plays of all time in a College World Series happened that year.
1-0 pitch. That was the one they called the Grand Illusion.
The Grand Illusion, where they had a fake throw to first base that it was a phantom throw. The pitcher stepped off and pretended like he threw. The first baseman dove for a ball that didn't happen. The runner thought it was coming over. He dove, and they thought the ball was rolling around in the bullpen.
Tapper to the third baseman, Braun. He goes to second for 1 on to first, and not in time for the double play. So Sizemore gets down the line in time to beat out the twin killing.
It's kind of a slow developing play right there with the soft hop. And good speed going down the line. Just beats it on the tie.
Here's Tim St. Clair. St. Clair struck out his first time up, one of 3 strikeouts for Ricky Orta in this game. First pitch is high. It's 1-0.
To finish the thought on that grand illusion play, so they faked the throw over. The base runner dives back, but what made the play work is the University of Miami Batgirl down the bullpen picked up her chair and ran out of the way as if a live ball was coming her way. She was in on the deal.
Wow.
Oh, it was outstanding.
That beats a fumble Ruski any day.
you got your peripheral people working on the grand illusion.
All they needed was to have the crowd involved and for them to point at it, you know, right. And that to cap it off. Throw over to first, and Sizemore's back. Of course, if Miami wins this ball game tonight, they'll advance in the winners bracket to take on Mississippi State, and we'll have that for you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern. That'll be the first meeting between those two teams since the 1985 College World Series, when the Hurricanes won their second national championship and Miami beat Mississippi State, eliminated the Bulldogs 6-5 on a great college baseball game. 2-0 pitch. Tap foul, and it's 2-1.
I guess the trivia question was, who was the player that was picked off? And it was the brother of Coach Stevenson at Wichita State. How would you like to have that in your memory?
No. 2-1 pitch is hit into right field. Caton is there, and the inning comes to a close. But VCU does get their first hit of the night. We played 3.5 with Miami leading 4-0 here on CSS. The inner workings of this thing we call television. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Miami with a 4-0 lead on Virginia Commonwealth here in the Coral Gables Regional. Hurricanes have advanced to the College World Series 17 of the 20 years they have hosted a regional. Can they do it again? Get the latest Miami baseball news and highlights on Hurricane Game Day with Jim Morris Monday night at 10 o'clock Eastern here on CSS.
Are you sure we just didn't catch him playing Xbox in the middle of our game? All right.
Eddie Rodriguez will lead things off here for the Miami Hurricanes. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Canes. No runs, 1 hit, and an error for VCU as Mozingo is back out there again. Rather rough start for him. He's walked 3 guys, given up a couple of home runs. He's out of Tappahannock, Virginia, Essex High School. Named to the Colonial All-Tournament team this year. He was 2nd team All-Colonial. He was the Colonial Athletic Association Rookie of the Year last year, too. Here's Rodriguez. First pitch to him. Ball fouled back this way. Crowd calls for it, and nobody makes the catch.
The bleachers here are concrete, and that hit the concrete. And see you later. Over the top.
Unlike most of the ballparks where we broadcast from, there is no protective netting for us, so we're in play here tonight.
I got you covered.
0-1 pitch. You don't need to cover me. I was all glove, no bat. I can handle myself in the field.
All right, you cover me then. Good. I remember that. There's a nice breaking ball there, Mozingo. That's probably the best one he's thrown all night, right?
There we are.
There.
See, no protective netting, man. We're out in the open.
Gotcha. I got you covered. No, you got me.
We're right out here in the open. 0-2 pitch, miss low, 1-2.
And not a bad place to be come around April, early May. It gets a little steamy around this time of year. It's a good weight loss program, huh?
Yes, indeed. 1-2 pitch. We might become the first broadcasters ever to suffer from cramps. Cramping up during the broadcast. We've lost so much liquid.
Get an IV in here.
I need a drip. 2-2 pitch. Missed inside, and now it's 3-2 to Eddie Rodriguez.
Actually, Florida Atlantic has a player that suffers from cramps, and I know that
he came out of the game today.
Yeah, they sometimes talk about giving him an IV prior to the game, get him through. We'll see him tomorrow.
Here's the 3-2 pitch from Mozingo, and that is lined into center field. Metter will have it drop in front of him for a base hit.
Well, here again, same old story. Had him 0-2. Worked the count full, and now he's sitting on a fastball. I mean, hitting's easy when you know what's coming.
Brings up the designated hitter, Alex Garabedian. Flew out to center field his first time up. We told you earlier about the fact that he was drafted in the 7th round by the Yankees a year ago. He had 30 career homers. Columbus High School here in Miami, looking to lay down a bunt here on this one, and takes the pitch outside. Big kid, 6'4", 243.
Has 2 sacrifice bunts on the year.
1-0 pitch missed inside, and it's 2-0 to Garabedian. And the throw back to Mozingo nearly chased him into center field. Last time Mozingo started, a little bit different circumstance, but he in that different team. He was playing Towson and not Miami, but he fell behind 5-0 in that ball game. And VCU was able to rally and win 6-5. That was the opening game of their tournament. 2-0 pitch hit into center field. Metter. And there's 1 out. He struck out 14 that night.
And I'm going to guess he did it by having a good breaking ball that evening, because I've seen it here tonight. The problem is he's getting ahead of the hitters, and then he can't put them away. He's missing locations once he gets ahead.
Well, here's Walter Diaz, who's starting at shortstop here tonight, and we talked about the lineup changes for Jim Morris's team this evening. Did not mention that Roger Tomas has been the guy that's sitting on the bench tonight because of those lineup changes. He had started 52 games prior to taking a seat on the bench tonight. Diaz fouls it off the catcher's mask.
Yeah, they had to do something, especially towards the bottom of the lineup, to try to get something going.
They'd also had some troubles defensively as well down the stretch, and not played well defensively. In fact, everybody in their infield has double-digit errors. 0-1 pitch.
I know that Tomas had a rough Clemson series, and I know you were over there doing that game and that series, and you know that's what's really, you know, coaches can live with you struggling offensively, but when you're a middle infielder and you're making mistakes and making errors, they can't live with that much longer.
1-1 pitch. There goes the runner, Rodriguez. Swing and a miss, throw down, and Rodriguez is going to be out at second. Gunned down by Pete Farina. Now there's 2 out.
There's almost a collision behind home plate. You may have seen hitter's interference had he not been thrown out, but it was a moot point. Of course, they got to make that call immediately. You'll see right here as he kind of ducks in the way. And there wasn't contact, but this is a great throw. Puts it right on the money. Hitter falling all over him. Nice job. A little something on it.
Rodriguez unsuccessful in the stolen base attempt. Now 0-3 for the season. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Walter Diaz at Braddock High School here in Miami. 2-2 pitch. Right back to the pitcher. Mozingo will toss underhand, and the inning comes to a close. A leadoff single for the Hurricanes comes to naught. We played 4 from Miami. Hurricanes with a 4-0 lead on VCU. Top of the 5th inning at Mark Light Field in Coral Gables, Florida. The Miami Hurricanes with a 4-0 lead. Catch Sports Night on Monday night. Our NASCAR expert Dan Elliott will join us to take a look back at the MBNA Race Points 400 at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. Dan Elliott will be with us on Sports Night. That's coming up Monday night at 6 Eastern right here on CSS.
That is the top of the beautiful Biltmore Hotel, which is a landmark in Coral Gables. They have a golf course. It's a resort spa. That is one beautiful place here in Miami. Get a chance to see that. It's right down the road here in Coral Gables.
We go to the top of the 5th inning here with Miami leading VCU 4-0. Ricky Orta working on a one-hit shutout to this point. Orta, the sophomore right-hander out of Florida Christian in high school. He was 37-3 in his career at Florida Christian, had an ERA of 0.25 as a senior, and struck out 344 batters in his last 3 seasons. Also hit 22 home runs his junior and senior season. He's a pretty good baseball player.
Well, we said this before. We'll have to repeat this. They've got to figure out a way to get something going.
Here's Barrett Ripley. First pitch from Orta is a strike, and it's 0-1. 53 pitches now for Ricky Orta. Longest that he's pitched all season, 7 innings against Wake Forest back on March 20th. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Well, you know, if he ends up pitching well into the night, and maybe even finishes this game, we got Carrillo going tomorrow. Bullpen doesn't have to show up till Sunday.
Just, you guys take the weekend off.
See you on Sunday.
0-2 pitch, struck him out on 3 pitches.
Wow, nice off speed right there. There's a case of a guy getting ahead of the count and then finishing him off. You're going to see it right here. Orta 0-2. What does he throw him 0-2? Little change action right there. Gets him the lefty to chase the changeup.
4th strikeout for Orta. And here's Pete Farina. Farina backed off the plate. Farina, his average down 87 points from a year ago. He hit 345 last season, but his homers are up 8.
You were chronicling earlier about the change in stadium.
Right. Well, they played at the Diamond in Richmond, which is the home ballpark also of the AAA Richmond Braves, which is a pitcher's park, as are most minor league parks.
Absolutely, yeah.
And here's a 2-0 pitch. And because of the field conditions that they had there at Richmond, in fact, last year, the Richmond Braves played the final 6 weeks of their season on the road because the field flooded, the drainage, they had horrible problems. In fact, the Richmond Braves didn't even play the playoffs at home, including the championship series in the International League, as Farina draws a 4-pitch walk. Well, anyway, that all extended through the offseason, and they were not going to have the field ready until April 15th. So head coach Paul Key said, well, we'll just play our games at Petersburg Sports Complex, which is 45 minutes away. The upstart of that is that that's not a pitcher's park. That's a hitter's park.
There you go.
Radically changed their outlook on life.
I take it the pitchers weren't consulted before that move was made?
No, they were not asked. Here's Trey Harris. First pitch to him is a strike. So after striking out Ripley on 3 pitches, walking Farina on 4, he gets back ahead of Harris 0-1. That one misses. 1 ball and 1 strike to Trey Harris. He's another one of the returning starters from a year ago. His average is up 70 points. 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Rams hit .316 as a team this year, but had a 5.27 ERA, and again, it goes back to the fact that they were playing in a park that was not the same kind of park, the Diamond, that they had been playing in. In fact, 2 years ago in 2003, they had the top ERA in the entire nation. They had a 2.60 ERA. Swing and a miss. Gets away from the catcher, and he's out. Throw down to second base, and he's out there too. A strike him out, throw him out. Double play as Farina tried to go on the wild pitch and is dead at second base. And so VCU is done just like that here in the 5th. We played 4.5. Miami with a 4-0 lead here on CSS. But he is down 4 runs here as we go to the bottom of the 5th. He was a Louisville Slugger freshman All-American by collegiate baseball a year ago, and also the Colonial Rookie of the Year. He had played a big part in the success of the Rams in the Colonial Tournament. As a matter of fact, they had lost 6 out of 7 games going into the tournament. The last thing they expected to do was win the tournament, but they won it, swept on 4 games, and the big performance was Mozingo's performance in the opener of that series, where he pitched into the ninth and struck out 14. And there's a line drive into center field and a base hit for Danny Figueroa, hit number 5 for the Hurricanes.
Well, these teams were going in different directions, obviously, before this week. But you start to slate clean here. You obviously want to be in the same situation VCU is in, not what Miami is in, but Miami gets to play at home. And that's a good way to kickstart. You see fastball up, he turns on it. Left center field, base hit, and that's what Miami does. Does a great job of getting on to lead off an inning.
Here's Paco Figueroa, 0 for 1 on the evening. Walked and scored in the first and grounded out in the third. And he's thinking about a bunt. Thinks about it some more and takes the pitch outside. It's 1-0.
You know, you take away that first inning where VCU made a lot of mistakes. It's a 2-0 ball game. With the solo home runs by Valencia and Braun, it's a different story.
Throw over and Danny's back. Paco Figueroa, 32 starts as a shortstop his freshman year, and then 30 more his sophomore year. Then got moved to the outfield in his junior season. Actually replaced his brother in center field. His brother underwent 2 surgeries on his shoulder and arm, and so Paco took over in center field until he got hurt as well. Tore a flexor tendon in his index finger and missed the back half of the season. Didn't return until the Super Regionals.
That's one of the advantages Jim Morris has, is both of them finally are healthy and in the lineup.
1-1 pitch. Paco lays down a bunt, bunts it foul.
To have these guys in the top of the order means everything to the University of Miami. You shut them down, you get a good shot at beating them. But not many teams have been able to shut these 2 guys down.
Paco was a 42nd round pick by the Atlanta Braves coming out of Gulliver Prep in 2001. His brother was chosen 6 rounds later in the 48th round, also by the Braves. 1-2 pitch. Pitch out.
Paul Keyes thinking Miami running on what would be a breaking ball pitch. Getting a little extra jump by Figueroa, but Jim Morris had his offense staying put on that pitch.
2-2 pitch. Missed, and now it's 3-2. In fact, Miami doing what Paul Keyes wanted to do. He said, we wanted to press. We want to get out there. We want to get guys on base. We want to run. We want to mix it up, and they haven't been able to do that.
And I guess he'll be running on this pitch. I look forward to Figueroa taking off on the 3-2. And, you know, with his brother up there as a good hitter to hit it to a side, get him running, create a hole in the infield, and maybe get a first-third situation.
Hurricanes stole 92 bases this year. Instead, they fly the ball to center field, and Metter is there. Danny Figueroa will have to go back to first.
Danny got a good jump on that one, but he hit it in the air.
And this is what happened when Ryan Braun came to the plate in the 3rd inning. Dispatch into left field.
That was the 3-2 pitch. They tried to come in or third on him. Down and in, and he just absolutely crushed it to left field.
It's the 17th home run of the season for Ryan Braun. Bats with a man aboard and 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
If you're going to pitch Braun in, you can't pitch him down around knee high, because he'll just turn it around like he did on that pitch. You got to get it in up over his hands.
First pitch to Braun is outside, and it's 1-0. He's a Golden Spikes Award finalist, and Miami's had only one of those, which is really hard to believe. One guy's won the Golden Spikes, and that was Pat Burrell. Throw over to first, and Danny Figueroa is back.
I believe they had a player that won the Lefty Gomez Award, which has similar significance as Player of the Year, and I think it was Orlando Gonzalez back in the early 70s, late 60s.
Throw over and a little bit closer. Ball got away, but not far enough for Figueroa to advance.
They used to call Orlando the Big O. Made it to the big leagues with the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, just poke through their media guide, and you see all kinds of ball players that you later saw playing in the major leagues. But for those watching Major League Baseball today, Burrell and Charles Johnson are probably the most prominent. 1-0 pitch. Pitch missed low, throw down, stolen base for Danny Figueroa, his 20th of the season.
Farina has no shot on this one. Great jump by Danny Figueroa on this one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, he just gets a great jump, and there's really nothing Farina could do. The throw was good, but he had no chance.
So the count's 1-1 to Braun, and he bats now with a man in scoring position. You saw Farina looking into the dugout. I'll tell you something about that in just a moment. 1-1 pitch. Pitch in the dirt, 2-1. Prior to the Colonial tournament, the catcher, Farina, was calling the game. And then they went into that thing and they fell behind 5-0. And Paul Keyes turned the job over to his pitching coach, Mark McQueen, and things worked so well. See, they're calling the shots from the dugout.
Stay hot, yeah.
Don't mess with it. When you've lost 6 out of 7 and then you win 4 in a row, you tend to go with what happened when you won 4 in a row.
Absolutely.
Rather than the other.
You dress the same, take the same route to the ballpark, all those things.
2-1 pitch missed low. It's now 3-1 to Ryan Braun.
It goes beyond whether you step on the line when you take the field or all those other idiosyncrasies that baseball players do. What you have for breakfast, lunch. Baseball, very superstitious. They did a study, I believe, one of the California colleges did a study on baseball superstitions. And they said that baseball, definitely, the players they've interviewed, probably one of the most superstitious sports there are to the players that play it.
But did they find that there was any merit whatsoever to any of the superstitions? Is there any validity to them? Now, I mean, I know you don't have to do a study to tell me baseball players are superstitious. I want to know, is there any merit to their superstition? Do you indeed get bad luck if you step on the white line? That's what I want to know. Give me a study on that.
I'll never eat quiche again. In the minor leagues, I had that for lunch one day and went 0 for 4.
There you go.
I haven't eaten it since.
Well, I don't eat quiche, but it has nothing to do with the minor leagues.
It was in Victoria, British Columbia, in the Northwest League, and they had this thing. Said quiche. I said, well, I don't know what that is, but I'll go ahead and try it. Something started with a Q. Took the collar that night, and that was the end of quiche.
Well, runners at first and second now for the Hurricanes after the walk to Ryan Braun, and here's John Jay. 0 for 1 tonight. Did have a sacrifice, however, back in the first. Mozingo in some trouble again. And the pitch to Jay. Missed low. 1-0. Mozingo now with 4 walks.
Well, right here, this is a critical jam that Mozingo has to get himself out of.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. His first walk was Paco Figueroa. He came around and scored. Then he walked Valencia and Caton in the first inning. They did not score. They got stranded. We'll wait to see what happens here with Braun at first base. Mataliano is now warming up in the bullpen. He's a side armor for VCU. Mick Mataliano, and Mozingo is going to get a visit from Mark McQueen, his pitching coach.
And that pitch you just saw from Mataliano was probably about his 3rd or 4th, so he just got up, and this is one of the reasons they're going out to talk to Mozingo right now, is just to buy the bullpen a little bit of time. You know, University of Miami pulls this thing into a 6-7 run lead here. It's going to be difficult. The Rams showing no signs of life offensively.
Mozingo's now at 94 pitches.
We can go 150, you said?
Yeah, that's,
all right.
Well, that's what it was reported in the Richmond paper, that he threw close to 150 in their victory over Towson in the Colonial tournament. But I don't think fatigue's his problem here. It's control. 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, hit foul down the first base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jay.
That's what he's looking to get right there, that ground ball to get him out of the inning. If they can get out of this inning, scratch a run or 2 next inning, get a little momentum going, let Miami know, hey, this thing's not over. We're still in this ball game. But it has to start right here with Mozingo getting out of this inning.
And it'd have to come out of the blue, quite frankly, because they've shown no signs whatsoever of touching order. But sometimes it happens. 1-2 pitch to Jay. That is lined into center field. Metter right in his tracks. Doesn't have to move very much. And now there's 2 out.
You know what? It goes under superstition. I was managing the minor leagues, and my offense wasn't going very well. Sometimes I'll go back in the clubhouse, change shoes before I went and coached third.
Here's Danny Valencia, his last time up in the third, his 7th, or make that his 6th homer of the season. At the time, put Miami up on top 4-0, the lead they currently enjoy. So Valencia at the plate with 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Mozingo looks back at second and had him off the bag, but there was nobody there to throw to.
Looked like he was going on that pitch too.
Yeah, he was almost into his full sprint.
What you try to do as a base runner, now that he's alerted everybody, they're probably going to have him come to a complete stop. But you want to stay in motion if you can.
Pitch outside. 1-0.
Wow, he probably could have gotten third on that pitch. He really didn't look over at it. Figueroa stayed in motion right there. That's what you want to do. You want to be nice and relaxed, and just as the pitcher gets ready to throw, somehow stay in a little bit of motion. Yeah.
Again, Mozingo turns back that way.
Well, I think he's got him measured. I think he could probably get it here.
Well, back in the first inning when Danny Figueroa was at second, he gave Mozingo a whole bunch of trouble back there. 1-0 pitch. Missed low. 2-0 to Danny Valencia. He was hitting 182 during the losing streak, but he's come out here tonight and hit a solo homer. We just showed you that homer again just a few moments ago.
Well, what Mozingo's got to do here is actually forget about that runner in second. He's got a 2-0 count to a guy he just gave up an opposite field home run to his last time up. It's the last thing he needs right now is a 3-run home run. Let him have the stolen base.
2-0 pitch. Missed low, and now it's 3-0.
I think you got to green light him. Guy hit a home run his last time. You can wait for him to groove him a strike. Got a 4-run lead.
100th pitch there from Mozingo.
Now, if it wasn't 2 outs, maybe not. But with 2 outs, you got a green light.
Not even close. And let's see if Mozingo is going to face the next batter. That is the 5th walk for him, and the bases are loaded. Brings up Brendan Caton. Caton 0 for 1, walked in the first and struck out in the third. But he's 1 swing away from doubling the lead.
That would slam the door. The way the Rams offense has been going tonight.
He missed about 3 weeks in the middle of the season after undergoing knee surgery on April 17th. Pitch missed low and away, and it's 1-0. Came back a little earlier than expected for the series finale at Virginia. 1 ball and no strikes to Brendan Caton. Mozingo in another jam. 1-0 pitch. Fastball missed high, 2-0. Two-0 pitch from Mozingo. That's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. Miami went 12-14-1 against teams currently playing in the NCAA regional this year.
Sitting on fastball.
First time they've ever played VCU. The 2-1 pitch. Chopper to the pitcher, Mozingo. Will toss underhand to the first baseman, St. Clair. He puts it away, and the inning comes to a close. Miami loads the bases. but fails to score. We played 5 with Miami leading 4-0. Top of the 6 here at Coral Gables with Miami leading VCU 4-0. First round action in this NCAA regional game. You saw earlier here on CSS. Tulane a 17-7 win over Southern in the first round of that regional in New Orleans. St. John's a winner over Virginia out in Oregon. 5-3 was the final there. Oklahoma a 5-4 win over Southern Miss. That's in Oxford, Mississippi. And look at that, Georgia Tech beats Furman 5-4 in the opening game of their regional in Atlanta.
The closeness of that game rather surprising.
Paladins were a team that got into the NCAA regionals by winning the SoCon tournament. They would not have gotten in otherwise.
And again, talking about a team that's hot right now, I believe that game went in extra innings.
Here's Alex Gary, senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, batting for the second time here tonight. Grounded out his first time up. Ball's 1-0.
Well, hats off to Mozingo getting out of that inning. Stranding 3, keeping the score at 4-0.
Now all he needs to do is have his offense pick him up here. 1-0 pitch. Gary takes a strike, and it's 1-1. But they have not shown any indications of scratching anything out against Ricky Orta to this point. They have not hit the ball hard. They've been fairly lackluster. 1-1 pitch. Missed low, and it's 2-1.
Other than the 4th inning, Joe Metter leadoff hitter. That's
it.
Anything to speak of. That's it.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Gary. Outside. Now it's 3-1. VCU played only 2 teams that made the NCAA regional field. They went 0-3 in an early series at Auburn, and then lost to North Carolina in a single game 3-2. 3-1 pitch to Gary. Fly ball center field. Danny Figueroa circles around out there and finally gets under it, and there's 1 out. Here's Quan Evans, struck out his first time up. Orta has thrown 7 first pitch strikes to the 15 batters that he's faced. Yet he's been very successful here tonight. And there's another one that missed. Fallen behind, but it hasn't hurt him.
Yeah, a 3-1 pitch. Been elected to let Alex Gary go swing at it. Came up empty on that one.
1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0.
You got to think at some point VCU is going to start putting on the take sign once hitters get in a 2-0, 3-1 count, just to get some base runner on.
Just inside, 3-0. Paul Keys, head coach at VCU.
I think he's got to take 2 here. Got to have base runner.
3-0 pitch right down the middle, and it's 3-1. We'll see if he's taken again.
I think you take here.
They've had only 2 base runners, make that 3 base runners all night, and that's a strike at the knees, and now it's 3-2.
Yeah, but I think that's the right call right there. Make them throw 3 in a row.
And the 3-2 pitch from Ricky Orta. Called strike 3. So he fell behind 3-0, and Quan Evans took 3 straight strikes. Strikeout number 6 for Orta.
Well, this one off initially looked like a ball, and then it tails back in and catches the corner. Quan Evans thinking it's going to be away, but it just catches the corner. Sometimes you got to fight those off with 2 strikes.
And here's Joe Metter. First pitch to him is a ball, 1-0. They have a saying, what, you can't walk off the islands, and they talk about that as far as the players coming out of Puerto Rico and the Dominican, how they're all free swingers, never draw any walk. Well, you're not going to walk to get back in this regional either. I agreed with you that, you take those first two. On that third one, something close, you need to be swinging.
Oh, yeah. You've lost the luxury of taking pitches once you get 2 strikes on you. You got to be cutting and slashing and staying alive. Good hitters will do that. They'll fight those 2 strike pitches. Either draw a base on balls or slap something for a base hit. That's all part of it. 2 strikes, you got to mess up the good borderline pitches, the nasty pitches. Pitcher throws his best pitch. If you can get a little piece of it, man, that's advantage hitter right there. And then you hit a mistake the next pitch.
2-1 pitch to Metter. It's low. It's now 3-1. So Ricky Orta right back where he's been, behind in the count. But to this point, he's given up 1 single to Joe Metter. And now the 3-1 to Metter. Ground ball in the hole between short and third. That's the second hit. Metter's got them both.
And if you're Jim Morris and J.D. Arteaga, the pitching coach, you have no problem with him giving up a base hit on a 3-1. Had to throw it down the middle. Metter waiting for it, as you said. Basically, there's the offense tonight for the Rams right there. You're looking at 3-1 right down the gut. Turns on it, finds the hole left side. Now he needs his teammates to start bunching some hits.
Here's Sergio Miranda. 0 for 2. Orta with the pitch. This low 1-0. Ricky Orta's career high in strikeouts, 7 against Duke back on March 13th. Got the win that night. 3-hit shutout for 7 innings. 1-0 pitch. Outside 2-0.
Talking to Paul Keyes about Miranda, he's the best pure baseball player on the team.
Miranda's out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. 2-0 pitch. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. He's from Puerto Rico Baseball Academy in high school. I wonder if they teach courses.
Wow.
Base running, 101.
Wow.
Fielding, 202.
No home ec in that school.
2-1 pitch. Groundskeeping. He said that Paul Keyes told me that Sergio's teammates always joke with him about how he always moves so slow, and he said yesterday as they were working out in the heat, now they know why he always moves so slow, because he's from Puerto Rico. He's grown up in this heat where it is your motto is take it easy, take it slow. 2-2 pitch. Gets away from the catcher, headed down to second base is Metter, and they've got a man in scoring position for the first time tonight.
Ball gets away for Rodriguez. Finally, Rams with a runner in scoring position. Turned his glove the wrong way. That's the reason why I got away from him. That was a stoppable ball. And he turned his glove the other way, cupped his shoulders and leaned forward, but he kind of got caught in between. But it goes down as a wild pitch.
3-2 now to Miranda. Orta looks back at second, now delivers the payoff pitch, taps it, could be trouble, gets by both fielders into right field. Metter, here comes the throw to the plate, he's sliding and scores, and VCU has their first run of the night on a 2-out single by Sergio Miranda.
Think about this, about 5 minutes ago, if Mazinga doesn't get out of that inning, it's about a 6-7-0 ball game. He's able to get out of that inning. Metter gets the 2-out hit. Gets down to second base on a wild pitch, and now Miranda, seeing eye hit, just gets through the right side.
It saw its way under the glove of Valencia and then under the glove of Figueroa.
And now it's just a 3-run game.
You're right. I mean, we've got a 4-1 game right now, and a lot closer than you would have thought had you been watching and not paying attention to the scoreboard. But here, a little 2-out rally by VCU. Metter getting a single with 2 outs, got to second on the wild pitch, and then scores on the C&I base hit by Miranda through the right side of the infield.
That's pitching coach J.D. Arteaga.
His man Orta at 84 pitches. Arteaga, his number 33, among those hanging out there on the retired numbers on the center field wall, number 33.
And his high school shortstop is a guy that, I don't know, most people know. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, Westminster Christian.
Alex Rodriguez signed with the University of Miami baseball program, but since he was the #1 pick, he decided to go pro.
That's right.
And here's Scott Sizemore. Sizemore takes a pitch. And it's 1-0. In fact, Alex Rodriguez has made a $4 million donation to the renovation fund for Mark Light Field. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That ball is hit in the hole between short and third, and the 2-out rally continues for VCU. 2 aboard as the tying run comes to the plate.
The bunching of the hits, we have not seen it. 3 in a row for the Rams. And as you said, tying run coming to the plate. This is a team that really had not done much the first 5 innings of this ball game offensively, and now one swing and a bat away from tying this thing up. How quick it changes in baseball.
Danny Gill in the bullpen for the Miami Hurricanes. Here's Tim St. Clair. 0 for 2 in this ball game. Struck out in the second, lined out to right in the fourth.
Coming off a great tournament in the Colonial Conference tournament, MVP. So you got a hot hitter up coming in.
Yeah, he went 10 for 18 in that tournament. 2 of his 9 homers on the season came in that tournament. He also doubled and drove in 8 runs. Capped what was a pretty good season for St. Clair. He was first team all Colonial.
They just looked down and got the sign that Gill is ready in case they make the move.
Eddie Rodriguez out there killing some time until home plate umpire Doug Williams told him to come on back. And there's Gill. St. Clair stands in with a 2-out rally in progress here for Virginia Commonwealth. A run in and now 2 more on the base pass. Orta delivers to St. Clair. Big swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Virginia Commonwealth playing in their 8th NCAA regional. 0-1 pitch. Took something off that one on the breaking ball. It's 0-2.
Paul Key's giving the signs. I'm not sure. I don't know. I doubt you're stealing in this situation with the 4-hole hitter up. So I think it's basically get a hit, Mr. St. Clair.
0-2 pitch. Off the plate. 1-2 to St. Clair. Virginia Commonwealth has had success in NCAA regionals in the past. 11-14 their all-time record, but they won 4 games in the Texas regional before. Won 3 games in the LSU regional before. Have never won a regional. 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Throw down to first. Got him. Low throw by Rodriguez. Nearly threw it away on the strikeout. St. Clair not happy with himself as he goes back to the dugout. He missed a golden opportunity, but VCU does get on the board. It's now 4-1. Bottom of the 6th inning, Miami with a 4-1 lead on Virginia Commonwealth here. First round of the Coral Gables Regional. Earlier today, Mississippi State a 13-2 winner over Florida Atlantic. So the Bulldogs have advanced to the winners bracket, awaiting the winner of this game. We'll have both games for you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, the losers bracket game against Florida Atlantic and one of these teams, and the winners bracket game will follow at 7 o'clock tomorrow night as well. Busy Beavers in the production truck. Those guys keep us on the air. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Miami. 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error for VCU. And here's Eddie Rodriguez. 1 for 2 tonight. Swing and a miss from Mozingo, and it's 0-1. Mataliano continues in the VCU bullpen. Mozingo now well over 100 pitches. This is pitch 105. Just outside, and it's 1-1. One pitch to Rodriguez. Strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
VCU trying to hold the Canes right where they are after scoring that run, showing that they could put one across.
One-two pitch, bounced in there. 2-2.
That's been the problem tonight with his breaking ball. His 1-2 pitches that he's trying to bury and get the hitters to go after are so far out of the strike zone that the hitter doesn't even think about offering it.
2-2 from Mozingo. Shakes off the sign from Farina. Now gets one he likes and delivers. Popped him up. It's going to be out of play. We mentioned that Miami 12-14-1 against teams in the NCAA regional field. They played 8 teams that have made the tournament and winning records against 3 of them: North Carolina, Florida State, and Virginia. 2-2 pitch, popped him up again. It comes back this way. I've noticed the folks here at Mark Light Field, they like to yell a lot at the foul balls, but they don't like to catch them. They all like to yell at it and say, "Here it comes," but when it comes time to catch it, they all move out of the way.
It's a very good observation.
I don't know, most people, they try to make a play for the souvenir. 2-2, that is ripped down the left field line, and a fair ball. Rodriguez has at least 2 on this one, and he'll pull into second base with a double. Eddie Rodriguez with his 12th double of the season. And that is the 3rd time in this ball game they've got the leadoff man aboard.
Well, again, ahead of the count, can't put the guy away. That's been his story all night, but let's not take away from the fact that Eddie Rodriguez worked the count, fouled off those 2 strike pitches, stayed alive. We said that's something that the good hitters do. 12th double this season. Let's see if they bunt him over to third here with nobody out.
Here's Alex Garabedian as Pete Farina goes out to talk to Mozingo, but this looks like just to get straight on the signs now that they have a runner down at second looking over Mozingo's shoulder at the catcher. And both of them being catchers. You got Eddie Rodriguez, a catcher down at second base, looking over Mozingo's shoulder. You got Garabedian, a catcher at the plate. And now you have Mark McQueen out of the VCU dugout. And this may be a pitching change. .111 pitches.
Well, he's well under his 150.
Oh, yeah, he's got another couple of innings to go, doesn't he? No indication yet from McQueen yet. Now there's the call. And Mataliano is going to make his way in from the bullpen. Whole different look with Mataliano, the side armor, coming in for VCU. Mick Mataliano, the new pitcher for the VCU Rams, sophomore out of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, St. Pius High School.
And you said you're going to get a different look here. A sinker, slider, 43 innings, 47 hits, 11 walks, 35 strikeouts. Good ERA, 2.89 with that 3-2 record. But, you know, it's one of those things right here where he's going to give the Canes a different look, but the job still remains the same. They cannot build on this lead. VCU having trouble getting guys on base until last inning. So if they can hold them right here, maybe figure something out, they could put together a big inning and maybe tie this game and get ahead.
He has the best control of any of the VCU relievers. He's walked only 11 in 43 2/3 innings. And Garabedian shows bunt and takes one outside. It's 1-0. Leads the team with a 2.89 ERA. This is his 24th appearance out of the bullpen. And here's the 1-0 to Garabedian, again showing bunt, takes it inside, and it's 2-0. Garabedian was rated by Baseball America as the #2 high school catcher last season. 2-0 pitch again, lays down a bunt. Farina.
Oh my.
And the runner could not advance. The runner at second, Eddie Rodriguez, was unable to advance on the sacrifice attempt. The bunt was so poorly executed, hit right into the dirt, and it stayed there. Farina picked it up quickly. Rodriguez had no place to go.
You know what? You look at that play and you say that's a good play by Rodriguez, because he's dead out at third base if he takes off. The ball, as you said, right in front of Farina. That's where it's going to be. If he goes to third base, he's out by 15 feet. So smart play by Rodriguez, reading the bunt. And let's see if that comes back to haunt Miami, not getting that run over to third with less than 2 outs.
Here's Walter Diaz. Diaz takes the pitch outside. Diaz was also a pitcher at Braddock High School. Had 5 saves his senior season. Batting here with Rodriguez down at second, and hits this one off the hands. And it's 1-1. We are live at Mark Light Field in Coral Gables, Florida, the campus of the University of Miami. Matt Stewart and Nick Belmonte, thanks for joining us. The Coral Gables Regional, where the Hurricanes have a 4-1 lead on VCU. 1-1 pitch from Mataliano. Fouled out of play, and it's 1-2 to Walter Diaz. Most likely to strike out in the Miami order. He has struck out 42 times this season.
Well, that's a dubious honor, huh?
You don't want, maybe that's why he's batting #9 in the order too.
Like your college, high school yearbook, most likely to serve time. No, you don't want that.
Missed low, and now it's 2-0.
Well, what they've had problems doing when they get ahead of some of these University of Miami hitters, the VCU pitchers having trouble putting these guys away.
Mataliano delivers. Outside 3-2 now to Walter Diaz.
And again, way ahead in the count, working it back full.
Canes 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position here tonight, but they have a 4-1 lead. 3-2 pitch, blooped into right field, going to fall for a base hit. Eddie Rodriguez will have to stop at third base as the right fielder, Trey Harris, is in on the infield dirt.
And again, a Miami hitter finding a way to get on base, falling way behind in the count. This thing's hit off the thumbs.
But the second baseman was out of position. He was way behind the second base bag, and that ball was just blooped to where they ain't.
Wee Willie Keeler. If that's a wood bat, that is splinters right there. As you said, they had him shaded up more towards the bag at second base. And he's able to fist that thing in the right field.
If it's a wood bat, it's become kindling. Here's Danny Figueroa. As it is, they'll stick it back in the rack. Can't destroy those aluminum bats, although I did see one disintegrate once. In fact, it was in the regional 2 years ago at the Auburn Regional. Josh Bell, the catcher for Auburn, hit one and his bat exploded. I'd never seen that before nor since. 0-1 pitch. Chopper to the third baseman. Runner coming home. Throw to first and safe there. Rodriguez safe at the plate, and it's 5-1. Infield single for Danny Figueroa plates Eddie Rodriguez. A swinging bunt that was kind of like a safety squeeze.
Almost worked out in their favor because the play right in front of Ripley at third. I thought you might take a shot at home plate. Decided to go try to get the speedy Figueroa. And nothing doing there. Miami not going to cover off the ball here, but good for a run as the throw pulls him off the base.
It's now Paco Figueroa. 8 hits now for Miami. 3 of them for Danny Figueroa.
And here's where it gets dangerous right here. That hard-earned run it took him 6 innings to get, gave it right back with a leadoff double and one bloop hit and one swinging bunt.
Paco Figueroa has gone full count in all 3 of his plate appearances here tonight. He walked in the first, grounded out in the third, and flew out in the 5th. He's had his brother on base in front of him twice, now 3 times here. Up the middle, gloved by the second baseman Sizemore, goes to second for 1. Throw to first, gets away. Racing home and scoring is Walter Diaz, and it's 6-1.
Mistakes VCU cannot make on a road at the Miami Regional, playing the University of Miami. He goes for the double play right here. And the reason why he's going to get the error on the advancement of Diaz to score, not by the fact that the hitter Paco Figueroa reached first base and Diaz scoring easily, because you can't presuppose a double play. They got the force out at second. The error is because Diaz scored when the ball got away from the first baseman.
Now it's 6-1. Throw over to first, and Paco Figueroa is back. So Miami, having at least on the scoreboard broken out of their offensive slump. They haven't exactly slugged the ball here tonight, although Braun has a homer and so does Valencia. But outside of those 2 balls hit over the wall, everything else has been pretty weakly hit. Hey, but it gets the job done, and that's all they're going to care about. 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan Braun. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th and 2 runs in again. So now a 6-1 lead for Miami. 1-0 pitch. Strike at the knees, and it's 1-1. He was an MVP of this team as a freshman. His freshman season, hit 17 homers, had 76 RBI, broke Pat Burrell's freshman RBI record. Here's the 1-1 pitch, hit sharply down the third base line and foul. And you were talking about it earlier. He was a shortstop, starting out his career at shortstop, until he hurt himself and they moved him over to third.
That's when Tomas came in last year, did a real nice job for Miami. He said, well, hey, you know what? Just keep it right where it is.
I think actually when Braun came back from his injury last year, they had him DH, and then this year they had him at third base.
Gabby Sanchez was the third baseman last year.
Throw over to first, and again, Figueroa's back.
Gabby Sanchez not on the team this year. And that hurt their offense, because he was the guy who's going to be counted on.
1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out here in the 6th. Mataliano in some trouble here and trying to get out of it. Braun went around, and the inning comes to a close. First strikeout for Mataliano, but damage done by the Hurricanes as 2 runs come on in. It's 6-1 Miami as we go to the 7th. Top of the 7th inning. New pitcher for the Miami Hurricanes is the junior right-hander John McClain.
John McClain, 21 2/3 innings, 17 hits, 8 earned runs, 7 walks, 25 strikeouts. The transfer out of Miami-Dade. Opponents only hitting .210 against them. He was one of the best relievers in the state of Florida in junior colleges just a year ago.
Out of Miami-Dade, and had a chance to meet Charlie Green yesterday. He was out here as the teams were working out.
Well, you know, Dade South, where Charlie Green coached, Demi Maneri coached at Dade North, where I had played. Steve Hertz was the coach at Dade Downtown, along with Skip Burtman. They combined it now. There's only one Miami-Dade, and Steve Hertz is the coach, and they play down at Miami-Dade South, where Charlie Green, the ex-junior college coach from Miami-Dade South, coached for many years.
Pitching line on Ricky Orta. He goes 6 innings, 90 pitches, 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. And that 7 strikeouts matched the career high he set against Duke earlier in the season.
Well, I know the tie-in right here, which why Charlie Green was at the ballpark yesterday, was say hello to his ex-assistant coach,
Ron Polk.
Polk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He had some funny lines there. We'll get into that a little bit later on here, as time permits. 0-1 pitch to Ripley.
Or should we save him for the Mississippi State game tomorrow? We're telling Ron Polk stories.
It was interesting, though. Ron Polk said, you know, don't believe him. He's a storyteller. 1-1 pitch. Popped him up down the left field line. Can anybody get to it? And a sliding catch over in foul territory by John Jay. Put that on the highlight reel.
Well, Johnny J knew he had to go into the slide because he's coming up to the fence. Now this is his ballpark. He knows the terrain. That's a great play. That's a great play.
Major league caliber play by John Jay. And you're right, the familiarity with his home ballpark really came into play there as he was able to take a slide on that dirt track right before the fence and make the catch. And here's Pete Farina.
You know, as difficult as that play was, you have a feeling watching him that wasn't the first time he made a catch like that this year.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
And that's all VCU needs right here is Miami to throw some leather around and further stop their offense.
Well, you get the sense that Miami's starting to feel a little bit more confident. And Jim Morris said, hey, we lost confidence. We lost confidence in ourselves, and that's not something that you normally see out of a University of Miami team. They are usually a very confident and cocky bunch when they come to the ball yard. 1-2 pitch, tap to the second baseman. Paco Figueroa over to fill the hole and throw him out, 2 away.
You're not bringing in the former team chaplain if you're not feeling confident. I mean, or you're feeling like you need something. I talked to Jim Morris, and he said, geez, you know, I've tried everything, and you had said that too. And you know, tonight has been more of a Miami game. They've had small ball. They capitalized on the little things. They've taken advantage of the VCU errors. Then they've got a couple of home runs. That builds the confidence, and they're getting great pitching.
There's Trey Harris. Pitch missed outside, and it's 1-0.
And solid defense. No errors and a couple of nice plays defensively.
1-0 pitch from McLean. Backs him off the plate. It's 2-0. McLean's making his 23rd appearance of the season. A year ago, he was 4-0 with 5 saves and a 0.90 ERA for Miami-Dade. 2-0 pitch. Ball is fouled back, and the count now 2-1. And just going back to Charlie Green and Miami-Dade, and there was a time we were talking about that. I was talking with Joe Deere, the Mississippi State Sports Information Director. We were talking about that as Charlie Green walked up and was watching the practice. 2-1 pitch is yanked down the left field line. John Jay's got room, however, just in front of the track. Inning comes to a close. We'll talk about it a little bit later after we take our 7th inning stretch. 6-1 Miami with the lead here on CSS. Bottom of the 7th, Miami with a 6-1 lead on VCU. Dan Cole blows another game for the Atlanta Braves, and the Florida Marlins finally get a victory in Pittsburgh. Go inside the dugout with Matt Chernoff and Chris Domino. We call it Talking Baseball, and it comes your way every Sunday night, but because we've got NCAA baseball on Sunday night, it'll be coming to you Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern right here on CSS. And John Jay, who made that spectacular catch in the top half of the 7th inning, steps to the plate to lead off the bottom of the 7th.
Now, why is that all the time?
Well, you got a 1 in 9 chance.
No, come on. Why? Oh, all right.
Here's the pitch from Mataliano.
So the odds are even better that you don't do a darn thing all inning and you lead off the next inning. That's eerily.
You've got an 11% chance of coming to the plate to lead off the inning every inning.
That's right.
1 in 9.
So it's even freakier that you have nothing to do with the play and you lead off. That happens way more.
That's correct.
Wow. How come that always happens?
Here's the 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. Going back to Charlie Green, we were talking about how there was a day in college baseball, especially in the Southeast, where there were at least 4 or 5 guys, it seemed like, on every roster from Miami-Dade.
That's right. Before I played for the University of Florida, I played for Miami-Dade North, Demi Maneri, and his son Paul coaching the regional in Notre Dame in the Gainesville regional right now.
They had a similar type deal in Atlanta with the DeKalb schools. It was DeKalb North, DeKalb South, DeKalb Central. And they produced a lot of great ball players playing junior college baseball.
I remember we had to beat Middle Georgia to go to the Junior College World Series. And we did. And there was always a good junior college team out of there. And the Dade programs were about as good as it gets in this country for many, many years.
2-2 pitch outside, 3-2. Coach Sapp at Middle Georgia, I think won like 80% of his games. Actually became the head coach at the University of Georgia. The success he had at Middle Georgia didn't follow him to the University of Georgia. But a guy who was on his staff at Middle Georgia was David Perna, who is now the head coach at Georgia. That ball is hit into left field and right at Evans, and there's one out.
Well, Montaliano has done okay since he's been in, but his team's going to have any chance here. Down 5 runs, he's got to keep them right at the 5-run deficit.
Wayne Renfro is throwing in the bullpen for VCU. In fact, he's one of their starting pitchers. He's made 9 starts this season, but he's down in the bullpen right now. Counts 0-1 to Valencia here in the bottom of the 7th. Ground ball hit to the shortstop. High throw. Nice play by St. Clair. He's a big, tall guy, so it didn't bother him. There's 2 out.
Yeah, it is a big target over there. Could let it loose at St. Clair at first. But Montaliano's done a nice job. He really has.
He's given up one of their runs.
But not, they haven't hit the ball really hard against him at all.
No, they had the swinging bunt, and they had a little bloop
hit, and then that's pretty much it. They had a fielder's choice. They scored when the ball got away from the first baseman. He's been a tough customer out there.
Yeah, that was an unearned run that he allowed. Caton at the plate. 0-1 pitch inside.
And almost so much so you think this might be his last inning, and that's why they got somebody out, because the offense, if they don't put something together in the top of the 8th inning, you think Paul Keyes might shut this guy down and say, hey, look, the way he's throwing, we may need him tomorrow.
1-1, little tapper, foul, and it's 1-2. 6 runs for Miami tonight matches their total from the last 4 games combined. They've scored 6 runs. They lost the final game of their series at Virginia, a game they very easily could have won. They had Braun and Jay hit into double plays with the bases loaded in the game. They lost 4-3. Then they went to Clemson, and here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, struck him out. And the inning comes to a close. Montaliano gets his 2nd strikeout. We've played 7. It's a 6-1 Miami lead on CSS. Top of the 8th with Miami leading VCU by a score of 6-1 here at Coral Gables. Other scores: Alabama 4-2 lead on Louisiana Lafayette. That's in the top of the 4th. We'll have that game for you tape delay on Saturday at noon Eastern. Northwestern State and Rice tied at 3. That's in the 6th inning of the Baton Rouge Regional. Mississippi, Ole Miss leading Maine 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 4th inning at Swayze Field in Oxford. And here it's a 6-1 lead for Miami.
I got to be impressed by whoever Maine's throwing tonight. Paul Costacopoulos, the coach in the University of Maine Black Bears out of Orono. He probably got a good one, because you do that against Ole Miss through 4 innings. Must have somebody good out there on the mound.
Here's Alex Gary to lead off the 8th. And that ball is hit into deep right field and at the wall. Caton. 1 out. Gary gives it a ride, but it comes up short in right field.
Well, McLean's job right here is just don't walk anybody. He's got a 5-run lead. This is a pitch right down the heart. Turns on it, just not enough juice to get it out. The wind slightly blowing that way. But Caton right there at the wall. Put a good swing on it, just not enough.
Here's Quan Evans. He has struck out twice here tonight. Once looking, once swinging. Little swinging bunt. Foul down the 3rd base line. You were talking about Maine, and the Black Bears, I think back in the 70s they made the College World Series. And
Dr. John Winkin would take them there all the time. And that was the heyday of the Maine Black Bears.
Jack Leggett, head coach of the Clemson Tigers, played for Maine.
for him,
He was a two-way player, played baseball, and he still to this day holds the record for longest field goal in Maine football history. 0-1 pitch, missed low, and it's 1-1. His team in action tonight at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. They're hosting a regional there at Clemson. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. We were talking before the break about kind of chronicling the losing streak for Miami. It really hit its nadir at Clemson when they lost 3 in a row. Jim Morris says that here's the 1-2 pitch. Tap swing. Gets under the glove of McLean. Throw to first, and they will not get it at first base.
That's a hit all the way.
And let's see how they score that. That's going to be an error on the pitcher.
Boy, you know, usually when a pitcher, it goes by a pitcher, they usually score this a hit.
Let's see, did he touch it? That's kind of the key. Did he touch it? Yeah, no, it just went under his glove.
Because they give the pitcher usually the benefit of the doubt because he's coming off a follow through. Now, granted, should he have knocked it down? Sure. But usually they're a little lax on that. Give the pitcher the benefit of the doubt.
Here's Joe Metter. He has 2 of VCU's 4 hits today. Anyway, Jim Morris was talking about the Clemson Tigers, and he said, you know, they played like the 1957 Yankees. And I was thinking, you know, the 57 Yankees lost to the Milwaukee Braves in the World Series. He might have meant the 58 Yankees who came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat the Braves.
Or the 27 Yankees.
Yeah.
Which is probably the greatest team of all time.
Better than the 1984 Detroit Tigers?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but you remember how they started out 35-5 in 1984.
It's Kirk Gibson hitting the game
1-1.
Game deciding home run in Detroit.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, but the 27 Yankees, you're right. That's the team generally regarded as the greatest of all time, the Bronx Bombers. 1-2 pitch.
It's a Dade North guy on that 84 in that 84 World Series. Miami Dade North. Yeah, Kurt Bavacqua for the Padres.
That's back when the Padres were wearing those ugly yellow and brown unis. Steve Garvey,
Alan Wiggins, Tony Gwynn.
Was Ron Say with them?
Terry Kennedy.
2-2 hit into right field for a base hit. Metter has his 3rd hit of the day. 3 of the 5 hits for VCU off the bat of their leadoff center fielder, and 2 aboard here with 1 out in the 8th.
Well, you know what Coach Paul Key said? He said, well, if Metter gets hot, he could hit 800 this weekend. Well, 3 for 4.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he said he's the kind of guy who can he'll hit 800 this weekend if he gets on a hot streak.
Because he's hitting 750 right
That's
now.
right.
So he's got to do a little bit better.
That's right.
Here's Miranda with 1 out. Miranda can get the bat on the ball. He's the hardest to strike out in the VCU lineup. Ball popped up and going to get out of play.
See, that's a good distinction to have. Hardest to strike out.
Well, coming into this game, he had struck out only 20 times in 233 at-bats. So once every right under 12 at-bats. And here tonight, he's 1 for 3. So runners at first and second, and 1 out here as VCU trying to make a little noise in the top of the 8th, trailing by 5 runs. McLean 0-1 pitch. Bunt laid down in front of the plate. McLean gloves it, throws to first, and nearly threw it away. Pulled his man off the bag, and the bases are loaded. And that's going to be an error on McLean, I'm guessing, unless they give him a hit on that. But I think a good throw would have got him. And that is going to be an error.
Well, he's butting for a base hit here. Obviously, no reason to sacrifice people over when you're down to your 5 precious outs. The throw got him off the base. And now JT Arteaga heading to the mound because don't look now, but the tying run coming to the on-deck circle.
2 errors for the pitcher. John McLean in the inning has allowed the Rams to load the bases here in the top of the 8th. We are live at Mark Light Field in Coral Gables, Florida. On the campus of the University of Miami, Matt Stewart, Nick Belmonte with you. Thanks for joining us here for round number 1 of the NCAA Baseball Regionals. Already today, Mississippi State a 13-2 winner over Florida Atlantic. And the Bulldogs got to be one of the hottest teams in all of baseball. Won the SEC tournament, sweeping that in 4 games and winning the opener of this regional by 11 runs. They are in the winner's bracket, awaiting the winner of this ball game, and you'll have that one tomorrow night here on CSS at 7 Eastern. Of course, we'll also have the loser's bracket game at 3 o'clock. And here's Scott Sizemore, the best hitter in the lineup for VCU. Throw down to first, and Miranda's back in there.
That is a situation where Miranda cannot. He's got to drop an anchor down there. He cannot get himself picked off. His run means nothing. This might be their last shot of putting together a big inning.
No balls and a strike to Scott Sizemore out of Chesapeake, Virginia. 0-1 pitch. Lined right to the second baseman. They've got the runner there, doubled off. And the rally ends just like that. McLean has some trouble in the field, but he gets out of the inning on a double play. Thanks for joining us here on the NCAA Baseball Regionals from Coral Gables. It's brought to you by Carpets of Dalton and American Home Showplace. It's just off I-75 in Dalton, Georgia, and it's well worth the drive. American Home Showplace and Carpets of Dalton. Bottom of the 8th inning. Miami with a 6-1 lead on Virginia Commonwealth as the Hurricanes are now just 3 outs away from advancing in the winner's bracket here to play Mississippi State for the first time in 20 years. Eddie Rodriguez leads off the 8th. He's 2 for 3 tonight. 8 hits for the Hurricanes this evening. 5 for VCU, but a 5-run lead for Miami, and the first pitch to Rodriguez is outside. 1-0. Miami opened the season 8-0, then won 10 of 11 through March 25th, including their big 20-1 win over Georgia Tech as Rodriguez swings and misses. At that point in the season, Nick, they were 23-5. But after that, they went 15-12-1. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Well, in a moment, Rodriguez steps back in.
Well, one of the things here, this is kind of a confidence builder for VCU. They've done a nice job hanging around this ball game.
Ground ball hit foul down the third base line. His double last time was right down the left field line. He tries the line again.
And Paul Keyes is going to probably tell his club, hey, look, you know what? We hung with this club. We pitched with them. We gave up some errors that ended up hurting us. But for the most part, we did not get blown out of the stadium tonight, which is one of the possibilities if they didn't get off to a good start. They didn't get off to a good start, but through innings four through the present, it's only been a 2-1 ball game in favor of the University of Miami.
1-2 pitch. Fouled back this way. The count remains 1-2. You know what? You sound a lot like a baseball manager. I mean, that's not baseball manager psychology right there. Well, you know, you gave up 4 runs in the first 3 innings, but if you take that away, it's just a 2-1 ball game for the rest of the night.
Extrapolation 101 there.
1-2 pitch is popped up sky high. Let's see if it stays in play. The third baseman's over there and overran the play. He was so concerned about that fence right there that Ripley kind of lost it and overran it.
His counterpart, his buddy over there, Miranda, almost got it as it was spinning back.
And, you know, you saw the catch by Jay and how playing here every day really comes into play for him. And then VCU, you know, this is the second day they've been on this field. And
there's a decent amount of room here to catch foul pop-ups. Some stadiums around college baseball in this country, there's very little room.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Again, tapped foul by Rodriguez.
There's a lot of campuses don't have a whole lot of room to put their baseball field. But here, you get a decent amount. It's a fair shot.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Eddie Rodriguez. Doubled and scored his last time up. Mataliano delivers, called strike 3. 3 strikeouts now for Mataliano.
He's been a tough customer tonight. Nice slider right there, and Rodriguez knew it. No argument right there.
There's no need to argue.
Because he wants that same call for his pitcher. Does Rodriguez, the catcher.
There's Garabedian, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
See, the catchers, they have to take a lot of those corner pitches for strikes. They can never argue because when they go back, they're going to say, hey, look, I want that call from my pitcher as well.
6-1 lead for Miami here, leading Virginia Commonwealth. Opening round of the NCAA Coral Gables Regional. I'm trying to think back if we have not had any 1 seeds lose today. If I remember correctly, no 1 seeds have lost.
Some close games.
Yeah, 1-0 pitch. Little blooper over the first baseman's head. Garabedian has his first hit of the night, and number 9 for Miami.
And that's really about the extent of the hits they're getting off of Mataliano. It's just bleeder stuff.
Yeah. Let's see, it was Diaz. Diaz was the one who had the swinging bunt, and Figueroa had a bloop, and that's a bloop. So the 3 hits that he's given up have been weakly hit, little bloops, flare. I mean, you know, they just put him in the place where you can't catch him.
Wipe the blood off those.
It looks like we're going to have a pinch runner for Garabedian here. That'll be Patrick Feeney. And that might spring a whole bunch of defensive changes for the top of the ninth. We'll wait and see. Well, Mark McQueen's out there to talk to Mataliano again. And we continue with Renfroe down in the bullpen. But Mataliano, as we have pointed out, has done his job. I mean, you really couldn't ask a whole lot more of him. He's going to stay in the ball game at least for now.
They haven't really been able to hit him at all.
But I'm kind of with you. I mean, I don't know what his situation is, whether he's one of those guys that can come back and pitch tomorrow, how many pitches Mataliano has thrown. But the way he's looked here tonight, I would like him available for my elimination game tomorrow.
Well, the big word, the E word, elimination game, he's going to have no choice. I guess he's going to have to gut it up as long as they need him. Because if he could throw like he did tonight and has tonight, you know he's going to be back in there if it's tight tomorrow.
24 appearances on the season. And he threw 6 innings of shutout ball against George Mason to put Virginia Commonwealth in the Colonial Tournament final.
Coach Bill Brown, George Mason, former Georgia Bulldog.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ball is hit into right field, and nice shoestring catch by Trey Harris. Pulled that thing right off the top of the grass and snow coned it on top of that.
Another weakly hit ball, just a dying coil out there, and here comes Harris on the run. Nice play.
That thing was just barely in the webbing. Nice play though, and now there's 2 out. 40 pitches from Mataliano here tonight. Danny Figueroa could be the last batter of the night for Miami.
Hey, Mississippi State's probably sitting here watching this game tonight going, man, you know, we got a sinker slider guy. We're going to probably throw him.
Runner goes, and Feeney, the ball hit him and ricochets away, but not far enough for him to advance, and Feeney has a stolen base.
I think he got him right on the helmet.
Feeney with his first stolen base of the season.
1 for 1. How about that? Now watch where this throw ends up. Right on the coconut.
Beamed him right in the back of the noggin. How many different nicknames can we come up for noggin, coconut,
dome?
So now he's in scoring position for Figueroa, has 3 hits tonight.
Just took one off the beam.
There you go. That's number 4. No balls and 2 strikes now to Danny Figueroa.
Hey, you know, 5-run lead. You saw what VCU did in the top of the 8th.
Oh, yeah.
One more run here. Couldn't hurt.
0-2 pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. Miranda throws him out, and the inning comes to a close. VCU's down to 3 outs. 6-1 Miami with the lead going to the 9th. Top of the 9th inning, Miami leading Virginia Commonwealth 6-1. Other scores: Texas beating Quinnipiac 10-2 in the bottom of the 6th. That's Quinnipiac's first ever trip to the NCAAs. Tennessee leading Austin Peay 4-1. That's in the 6th in Knoxville. Look at that one. Florida State and Army tied at 2 in the 7th inning.
The Patriot Conference. Army.
Arizona 4-0 lead on Missouri in the 6th inning. Creighton leading NC State in the 4th. And a new pitcher for Miami to work the 9th is the sophomore right-hander. Another one of these guys out of Christopher Columbus High School, Danny Gill.
Danny Gill, 28 2/3 innings, 29 hits, 19 walks, 20 strikeouts. You'd like to add a little more of the K total there. 3 saves on the year, 2-3 record, 5.34.
St. Clair hits this one into left field, but Jay is there, 1 out.
Best swing of the night St. Clair put on it.
Final line on John McLean. He goes 2 innings, no runs, 1 hit, and everything else zeros. So 2 outs away for Miami to advance in the winners bracket and pick up Ricky Orta, his 7th win of the season. Here's Barrett Ripley. And the pitch is outside to Ripley. It's 1-0. Again, we're going to be back on the air Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Losers bracket game, Florida Atlantic against, it looks like most likely, Virginia Commonwealth. Deep fly ball, left field. Jay turns and runs to the wall and watches it go. Solo home run for Barrett Ripley, his 4th of the season. Makes it a 6-2 game.
These are things that VCU is going to build on here. 4 runs down, not insurmountable, but if they come up short, Coach Paul Key is going to point to these things, that this team did not give up. They battled and had their best offensive innings late in the game. This pitch is left up, but does a nice job of not trying to do too much with it. Just out of the reach of John Jay.
Here's Pete Farina. He takes a strike. It's 0-1. That is the 3rd home run that Danny Gill has allowed this season. Gill was Miami's closer last year, but fell out of the job this year, and it's 0-2. I mean, he was collegiate baseball, Baseball America, freshman All-American a year ago. Strikes out Farina on 3 pitches, and there's 2 away.
There's a yacker here ahead in the count. Gets him to chase this ball, buries a pitch. Chases it. Farina down on strikes. Nice movement right there by Gill. His brother David plays pro ball.
Yeah, he was a 3rd round pick of the Reds after playing 4 seasons here at Miami. Here's Trey Harris, final hope perhaps for VCU. He's behind 0-1 in the count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, threw it over his head.
Those pitches go behind you, and they rarely do. You like the fact that they are the breaking ball variety, like that one.
Here's the 1-1 pitch in there for a strike. Or actually, that was a ball. It's 2-1. Gill trying to finish this one off for Miami. 2-1 pitch. Floats one in there for a strike, and now it's 2-2. Miami 1 strike away from running their winning streak in regional home openers to 20 games. Outside 3-2. That is a pretty phenomenal statistic.
It really is, if you take in consideration that you've hosted that many regionals, number one. You throw that aside, exactly. And then you win 20 in a row of your first game. There's is that Father Leo? That is. There's Father Leo. Father Leo Armbrust.
3-2 pitch, and you walked him. So Trey Harris keeps things alive. First walk given up by Danny Gill, and that's just the second walk given up by Miami pitchers tonight.
Well, you know, as crazy as it sounds, a couple more hitters get on base. You got the tie and run coming to the plate. It's you know, it's a 6-2 ball game. It's a 6-2 ball game. Miami's pretty much dominated from the standpoint that they control this game. But a couple guys get on. Fact remains, tie and run's going to come to the plate.
Pitch to Alex Gary, missed low, and it's 1-0. Gary 0 for 3 tonight. Gary transferred, played his first 3 seasons at Western Carolina, and he was on the Catamounts team that beat Virginia Commonwealth in the 03 regional. Pitch backs him off the plate, and it's 2-0. Crowd gets a little restless with Danny Gill in his control, or lack thereof. Trey Harris down at first base, not being held.
The last thing you want to do is walk this guy. The last thing.
2-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1.
You don't see Miami coaching staff, but rather than give up a 2-run home run on a pitch right down the middle, let him walk a guy here.
Exactly. I think you've said it before. Sometimes those home runs are rally killers.
That's right.
2-1 pitch inside, 3-1. But a walk in this situation does nothing but throws gasoline on a rally.
Get you one more hitter away from bringing the tie and run to the plate. He's already given up 1 home run tonight as it is in this inning.
And here's the 3-1 pitch from Gill. Swing and a miss, and it's 3-2. Miami 1 strike away from their 27th win in their last 28 postseason games here at Mark Light Field. That's what you call a home field advantage. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, third baseman. That's a foul ball. Everybody goes back, and we do it again. That would have been a base hit, and they would have been runners at first and second had that been fair.
At his speed, that would have been a tough play. Vaughn would have had to come up with a great throw as he traveled in the foul territory.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Gary steps back in. Danny Gill glares in, looking for the final out. And the payoff pitch. Called strike 3. And the Miami Hurricanes have snapped a 6-game losing streak with a 6-2 victory over VCU here in the opening round of the Coral Gables Regional. The Miami Hurricanes 6 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. VCU 2 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors. Miami advances in the winners bracket and plays a doozy tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern. It'll be Miami and Mississippi State in the winners bracket. In the losers bracket, FAU and VCU. We'll continue more after this on CSN.